good morning, wherever you may be around the globe in the chat room. Maybe you're on some phone lines, some apps, some other sites, some other stations. I welcome you all. This is Late Night in the Midlands, and I am Michael Vera, and, tonight we will be speaking with a first-time guest tonight. We're going to have Xaviant Haze joining us here tonight. We're going to talk about some ancient history. And, of course, the alien topic will come up, as it often does here. And so it should be an interesting evening if everything goes well. Now, hopefully, there was some damage done to, I guess, lines or something that has to do with the internet connection that comes into here. And so it was supposed to be fixed, and hopefully it is. And we don't have any drop-offs or problems tonight. Hopefully the server holds up. There's a whole lot of you who have been jumping on here to listen. And so we've got to try to keep up with that. But last night, I was unable to get back to the show because thankfully it was a round table and Ira was in charge. And I had a feeling that's why we put it in Ira's hands last night, is because the internet company was working on the lines down the road or whatever, and they're still working. So whatever it is, it's a big issue. And, when I got back, I couldn't get back on, and then the power went out, and it just was a mess. So it was probably around 1 o'clock in the morning before I would have been able to get back online, and at that point, I didn't even bother. So thank you, Ira and Rascala and Joe, and I don't even know if Ryan got in there. If not, but thank you anyways. So for that was last night. And I'll tell you, I was ranting in the beginning of last night's show, and I still feel that way. I still want to, but I'm going to refrain. I'm going to hold back as best I can from doing that tonight anyways. I had no promises, though. Synthetic blood transfusions within 2 years. Health authorities have revealed that synthetic blood could soon be transfused into human test subjects. That's interesting. At the moment, blood transfusions rely entirely on donations from volunteers. But what if it was possible to create inexhaustible supply of even the rarest blood types in a laboratory? Wow. Monsanto, I'll tell you, he's going to own it all, man. This week, the UK's National Health Service has announced ambitious new plans to begin human trials of synthetic blood transfusions within as little as 2 years. Now, listen, I'm sure there's benefits to this. Anybody who needs the blood would probably say, yeah, that's a good thing. And I don't blame people. The problem I see here is how else it might be used. I'm just saying, it could be used. Everything has good and evil to it, right? A car could get you to the store to pick up groceries to feed the family, or it could be used to run down 100 people on a sidewalk. So, anyways, scientists across the globe have been investigating for a number of years now on how to manufacture red blood cells to offer an alternative to donated blood to treat patients. This was said by Dr. Nick Watkins. While not intended to fully replace blood donations, they say, just yet anyways, the synthetic blood will help provide customized transfusions for patients with, any particular complex blood types. They say that they are confident that by 2017, their team will be ready to carry out the first early phase clinical trials in human volunteers. And again, said by Dr. Watkins of this university. So, synthetic blood, soon to keep alive synthetic humans, soon to be walking amongst us, if not already. All right, right along with the genetically modified babies, which we'll get into that in just a moment. Mars-like extrasolar planet discovered. Astronomers have identified a planet the size of Mars orbiting a star 200 light years from Earth, one of the smallest exosolar planets ever discovered. This tiny, distant world orbits the red dwarf star Kepler-138. Kepler, that's my cat's name. And is also thought to have 2 neighboring planets around the size of the Earth. And for all you thieves out there who think that you may be breaking anything by using that, I don't listen, folks. When I make passwords, I will tell you, it has nothing to do with me or my family or anything like that. You'd probably die of a heart attack if you heard what some of my passwords were. All right. Well, anyways, due to its size, the distance its discovery is equivalent to locating a pin as far away as the moon. They says they've been able to tease out both the size and mass of this planet. They also say there's, again, 2 other neighboring planets they say that are around the same size as Earth, but we're too busy blowing each other up, so the chances of us getting there are pretty rare. But yeah, we used to cover the troll thing a lot here. We used to do it a lot more when we had somebody we thought we could trust, come on the show to talk about those things. And one mistake people do make is making their passwords like their pet's name or their kids' names or their birthdays or their spouses. Or you should never use stuff like that, because that's the first thing these dirtbags go for. Another way, things like Facebook and such are useful for people who don't have any imagination when they make passwords. Biological weapons and designer babies. Yes, designer babies. 15 years of decoding humanity's DNA. On the 26th of June, 2000, the Human Genome Project announced that they had a sequence of the human genome. Here's how our understanding of DNA has changed the world since, they say. 15 years ago, President Bill Clinton and Prime Minister Tony Blair announced that humanity's code was definitively cracked. Scientists had mapped the genetic blueprint for human beings. Following the success of the 1.7 billion Human Genome Project, the White House statement predicted that the landmark achievement would lead to a new era in molecular medicine, an era that will bring new ways to prevent, diagnose, treat, and cure disease. They say DNA-based cancer treatment is expected to become routine within the decade, effectively turning the disease into a manageable condition rather than a death sentence. Well, it depends who you ask. If you ask me, I'm going to tell you that cancer is not a death sentence, that there are cures for it, and that it'd be so much easier if they just come out with them. But, that's not where the money's at. But anyways, some good news there, right? So they've got the DNA thing all worked out, and they're making synthetic blood. They're able to grow body parts in laboratories. Well, won't be long. You'll have synthetic human beings saying that they want rights, and, it's coming. Newspaper editorial page bans op-eds opposing gay marriage. Yeah, so they are forbidden to give their opinion. That is called, my friends, censorship. That is where, see what's happened now? You see, there's a media piece, and they're being controlled, and they're not allowed to give their actual opinions. By the way, the Supreme Court declares nationwide right to same-sex marriage, and I'd like to be the first to give you all a round of applause for those of you who are gay and looking to get married, because your masters have now given you, or granted you rather, permission to do that. So you should feel very honored that your masters have allowed you to love the person you're with. All right. Way to go. Good job. Great. All right, with them pink flags, too. All right, 5th shark attack off North Carolina coast Friday. I told you the shark attacks would pick up. I told you the ocean was dying off. People think I'm just a conspiracy theorist, but what we've got is we've got some sharks who are hungry. There's a lot of species that have been killed off in the ocean, I believe causing a food shortage. I also believe that is why the sharks are coming in, and they're taking a bite out of the human genome. A man on a North Carolina beach says he witnessed a shark attack. A 47-year-old man was attacked near the Avon Fishing Pier in the Outer Banks. The Florida Program for Shark Research confirmed the unprovoked attack and says this is the 5th shark attack off the North Carolina shores this year. And I promise you it will not be the last, and I also promise you it will not just be in North Carolina. You're going to see this in a lot of different places. The sharks are hungry. You're in the water. Once you step into that ocean, people, you are no longer at the top of that food chain. You fall to the bottom. I promise you, you fall to the bottom. These sharks are hungry. They've been radiated by Fukushima. They have been seriously and tremendously poisoned by the BP oil spill and the Corexit that was used. Believe me, there's a major die-off, and you are now on the menu for these sharks. So go ahead, go take a dive, and we'll add you to the list. I'm Michael Vera. This is Late Night in the Midlands on the LNM Radio Network. We're going to take a break, and then we'll come back with my guest. We'll be talking about ancient civilization. Well, that'll be part of our conversation with Xaviant Haze. So, folks, stick around, and we'll be right back.
Hello, this is Dick Farrell, here to tell you about OxySilver. Legally available only through CureShop.com and HealthyWorldStore.com. Don't be fooled buying silver products from copycats and criminals. You've heard Dr. Leonard Horowitz and experts urge you to avoid deadly vaccinations and illegal operators selling stolen OxySilver and OxySilver copycats. You've heard experts tell you about suppression in alternative medicine and confusing propaganda in healthcare and the truth movement. Read Dr. Horowitz's book, Healing Celebrations, to learn how miracle healings can be made to happen through faith, prayer, and a pure diet. Get great immunity using vitamin C, D, and OxySilver, Liquid Dentist, GI Flora Pro, a top-shelf probiotic. Use Green Harvest as a great-tasting meal substitute for energizing organic nutrients and losing weight. And Zeolove, and natural clays for detoxifying your body. More advice, all these products and more are available from theCureShop.com. Including OxySilver, the world's most powerful silver hydrosol. Electro-energized to put risky injections, toxic antibiotics, and deadly drug pushers out of business. OxySilver is covalently bonded to water. Unlike any other silver product using the frequency of chlorophyll 528, what Dr. Horowitz explains is pure tone love, the universal healer. NASA originally developed covalently body silver hydrosols to keep astronauts healthy in space. Dr. Horowitz added the 528 frequency to NASA's formula and more. OxySilver works 3 ways to electrocute dangerous germs better than anything, far better than all leading silver products, and without any risk. OxySilver oxygenates and resonates with 528 for faster healing. So help save lives, putting drug lords and criminals out of business, and keep the LNM network broadcasting. Register for our free cooperative at healthworldaffiliates.com/4948. That's healthyworldaffiliates.com/4948. And buy OxySilver and other great products in package specials at great discounts from theCureShop.com. Buy OxySilver, GI Flora Pro, Green Harvest, Zeolove, and Love Minerals at great discounts at CureShop.com. That's CureShop.com with 2 P's. CureShoppe.com. Or call toll free at 1-888-621-7611. That's 1-888-621-7611. Do it now.
The LNM Radio Network and Late Night in the Midlands depends on you, the listener. Without you, there would be no know us, so help us continue to bring you the best guests with the best information and subscribe today. Information on becoming an LNM subscriber can be found at the top of LateNightInTheMidlands.com. Just click the About Subscriptions tab and become part of the family while helping the truth stay alive. And while you're at it, maybe subscriptions aren't for you. A one-time donation helps as well. Click that donate button on the right side of LateNightInTheMidlands.com and help us help you. The LNM Radio Network offers a moderated chat room at www.latenightinthe.midlands.com. Just click the chat and listen page from the drop-down menu at the top of any page on the website, or click the Listen Live button at the top of the homepage at www.latenightinthe.midlands.com.
Are you tired of shows about bogus photographs of guinea pigs on Mars or fake photos of Bigfoot in the woods? How about fake paranormal shows that don't actually discuss the paranormal or believe that every object they see in the sky must be extraterrestrial? How about big networks that use alternative news to promote their mainstream agenda, political shows that are one-sided, or shows that claim to know exactly what is happening for ratings, even though an event just broke in the news? Me too. At The Secret Teachings, we are not like any of those other shows. We cover any topic from symbolism to ancient history and from health to the occult, including the paranormal, but we don't just jump on board with every photograph of an orb or sample of Bigfoot hair. We have no political affiliations, no religious backing, and no financial backing. We want proof, and not someone's word. If you want proof, or at least a different perspective from a host that can both accept or deny all points of view and all pieces of evidence, without holding onto a preconditioned belief or looking for evidence to support a prior conclusion, someone who can even admit when they're wrong, then check out the Secret Teachings radio show. Airtimes and free downloads are available by visiting www.thesecretteachings.info. That's thesecretteachings.info. I'm your host, Ryan Gable, and I hope that you will join us. Namaste.
Need your L&M fix? You can find us on social medias everywhere, like our Facebook fan page, Late Night in the Midlands, or our Facebook group, the LNM Radio Network. Our other Facebook groups, The Last Frequency. You can also find LNM on Twitter at LNM Radio, and all of this and more can be found on our website at www.latenightinthe.midlands.com. Again, that's www.latenightinthe.midlands.com, bringing the truth back to talk radio.
And if I were an astronaut, here's what I would do. I'd fly in the sky in my little spaceship until I touched the moon. I'd go and cut me a piece of green cheese and catch me a moon and two. And one day I will leave for that place, and maybe one day soon I say, whoa, can I ever go? I say, whoa, I promise to fly very, very slow. And if I were an astronaut, here's what I would say. Please give me my freedom, and I'll be on my way. I need to fly above the sky, I need to fly today. Please let me go to I don't know, and I'll thank you all someday. I said, whoa, can I ever go? I said, whoa, I promise to fly very, very slow. And if I were an astronaut, I would be alone, away from the earth, the grace of my
I think what I would do is I would take pictures of the moon, and I would look for Planet X, and I would do all those things if I was an astronaut, but then I probably wouldn't be able to tell you about half of it. Maybe. I don't know. I've had one astronaut on this show, and he says that nobody told him he couldn't talk. So, you know, you could believe him or not believe him. It's difficult for me to argue with him. I mean, maybe he wasn't told that he couldn't talk. Other ones might have. Maybe he never came down and said he's seen anything either. So that might be the difference. But we've got, I hope, to be an interesting show here tonight. We'll see how things go. You never know. You just never know. Xaviant Haze is an American artist and researcher of Earth's ancient past. His interest in esoteric and mysterious works goes back to his early teen years when he was first exposed to the writings of Erich von Däniken. Xaviant has maintained a lifelong interest in the pyramids, the Bermuda Triangle, and the legends of Atlantis. He hosts one of the most complete online metaphysical libraries with links and resources to all major works in his field. His website is linked up over on LateNightInTheMidlands.com. If you go to the homepage and you'll see a picture slider, you'll see the guest there. Click it. It takes you over to his website. It is that easy. And so what we're going to do is get him on, and I will take calls tonight. After we get talking for a few minutes here, 803-317-2264. And the number is also located on our website at LateNightInTheMidlands.com. As a matter of fact, you can also call in using Skype. Skype to Skype ID, Late Night in the Midlands. No spaces. I want to give a shout out to our radio affiliates, the Dark Matter Radio Network. Hello to all of you. And K98 Talk, a shout out to you all. And, of course, High Point Radio, the top of New Jersey, covering New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania. They do it on 100.5 FM, 1700 AM. Hello to all of you, and thank you for tuning in. And, of course, all of you on the LNM Radio Network. All right, so let's get this show on the road. I've gone over the bio, and now we will bring on as the man. If you remember, I had him scheduled, few months ago, and something happened where he wasn't able to come on. So we finally got him rescheduled, and looking forward to it.
Hello.
Good evening, Mr. Hayes. This is Michael Vera with Late Night in the Midlands. How are you tonight?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. I want to welcome you to the show, and I want to thank you for taking time out to be with us tonight.
Sure, no problem. Thank you.
All right, great. Well, first off, I thought maybe we'd start out with a little background, some background and what led you on this path of the unknown and the unknown history and the ET and the connections there. What got you into all this? Where did it all start?
Well, it wasn't ET the movie, that's for sure, because I get nightmares when I was a kid. Creepy stuff, man.
Yeah.
I think pretty much not sightings, but In Search Of.
Right.
The show.
Oh, yeah.
with Leonard Nimoy. Remember that?
I do.
That was a huge influence on me when I was a teenager. And when I saw, when I read Church of the Gods, basically, as a teenager as well.
And so since then, you've really been researching this stuff. I mean, once you get into it, it's like there's no stopping, huh?
What's this? Yeah, see, for me, it's, at such an early age, I was curious, when I saw the pyramids for the first time, and when I saw Stonehenge, or even the dinosaurs, I think, what the hell were the dinosaurs? It was crazy. So the whole alien thing to me, remember the movie Fire in the Sky?
I do, with Travis Walton.
Yeah, that movie blew my mind, and it just, I started young, basically, and I never grew up in a household where there was, like, religious dogma or any type of, constraints in that sense, right? Like, I never had a Christian upbringing, or, when I was a kid, I was with my grandmother and went to church, and it was fine. It was cool, but, when I was a teenager or whatever, there was none of that in my house. Like, it was just kind of, check out whatever you want, read whatever you want, and form your own opinion. So.
And see, that's how it was in my house too, and I am so thankful for that I haven't been brainwashed growing up. Yeah, that helps. And you're a little muffled. I don't know. Are you on a speakerphone, or could you? Are you maybe too close to the speaker or something like that, or?
It's the cell phone, but maybe I just hold it a little too close.
Okay. All right. Well, that's fine. I mean, I can understand you. It's just a couple people, they get complaining. They want to hear it all, and I don't blame them. But so I understand that. I mean, same here. And then I've had my own sightings and stuff too, and that's
exactly.
Yeah. So what type of experience have you had? I mean, tell me about your sightings.
Well, when I was a kid, I grew up in Washington State, so from the Seattle area, and there was always Bigfoot and these type of things. But I remember being probably 8 or 9, camping one time, and seeing some sort of lights, like I wouldn't call them orbs. You seen something that kind of lit up in the forest, and then I'm like following my uncles and my father to check it out more, and it definitely saw something kind of fly off. It was hard to kind of tell because of the trees and it was nighttime. I couldn't really make out the craft completely because it was bright, but there were different colors. And then when I was in Cuba, in Guantanamo Bay, which I was there, because my stepfather was in the military and he got stationed there. So I spent some time there, which is really interesting. And I would fish all the time. We'd go out in the bay fishing a lot. And I saw two kind of unexplained things. I saw orbs that were kind of orange. I saw those a few times, which, were strange. But then I also saw some, appeared to be, underwater type USO, I can't remember what the correct term would be, but yeah, I saw something that looked like it was just barely above the water.
I think they call them USOs, unidentified submerged objects. Is that how it?
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
I saw one of those for sure, and it was strange because it looked like when it was a little bit off the water, the surface, the top of it looked like pavement. It was bright. It was like metallic, so you could tell something was there. But I thought it was maybe a whale or some kind of manatee or something. But it was so big, it was just too big. And then when I went under, we could feel the boat move. We could, something was there. It wasn't a massive thing, but it was definitely something strange.
See, and because you've seen it, and that's how I feel. I know what I've seen. And for me these days, it's not about convincing anybody. The way I see it, if you don't believe me, fine. I go to bed at night knowing, what I see.
Exactly, me too.
Yeah.
I don't care. When, have you seen the pyramid on Mars? The new image?
I have, yes.
Oh, and it's so amazing. It's so incredible. It's like vindicating to me, you know. It's hilarious, actually.
And you know
but,
what?
when
I was going to say they also found what looks like a pyramid as on Ceres, too?
Yeah, Ceres. There's a pyramid and also a bunch of strange lights they can't explain.
Yeah. So what do you think? Are there maybe civilizations there, or was it us that was there before, or do we have neighbors?
I definitely think we have neighbors for sure, and there's other species of aliens. But it's also possible that some of the ruins are ours as well. You know, who's to say that we didn't acquire that knowledge, you know, hundreds of thousands of years or even millions of years ago? When they found bones, they just found a jawbone, I think, in Ethiopia that's at least 3 million years old. So
yeah, I just read where they found dog mummies too in Egypt, like hundreds of them or something like that.
1 million of those.
Yeah, that's right. It was. I think it was 1 million of them. So yeah, that's a lot. But
so to me, it's, you know, when you show someone, like I have a friend who's very religious, so to speak, and when they see a picture of a pyramid on Mars, it freaks them out to the point where they don't know what to do. They just ignore it, you know, because they just can't. They don't even want to think about like all of the possibilities, you know.
Right. Yeah. That's exactly it. They look at it and they think, well, no, that can't be. You know, someone photoshopped it, but no, it's not photoshopped. This came directly from, you know, the people who usually hide things. I'm surprised they even show that.
Exactly. It is weird because I got that from an insider like a few days before it was released, and I was like, no way that this is. It blew my mind, and it was a clear NASA image, like straight from them. So I was like, okay, we'll see what happens. And then when it came out, I was like, wow, this is like, what are they trying to do if they're kind of just putting this out? I know it's slow disclosure. I know that's part of it, but you know, that means there's so much there on Mars that it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and you know that leads me to wonder what the story is with the pyramids and the Sphinx and those kinds of things here on Earth and in Egypt, and you wonder if there's any connection, because now we're seeing pyramids in other places.
Exactly, and it's freaky, and it's hilarious to me because God, people they fight you so much, and they're so, you know, bent out of shape. Oh, if they're only 3,000 years old, or blah blah blah. And you know, you spend 4 years and get a bunch of debt going to college to be able to, you know, say you're an Egyptologist, right? And it's so hilarious, you know. Like, wow, really? Like, let's talk about the pyramid on Mars, pyramid on Ceres, who knows where else, and then let's talk about how do they even get from Mars here. You know?
Exactly. I mean, and that's what I'm saying. You got pyramids on, so far, 3 different places, and I wouldn't doubt if they're on the moon, too. And you got to wonder, okay, so, you know, they didn't have a universal internet, right? They weren't looking up the plans on the net. So how did all that happen?
Oh, it's ridiculous. It's funny. It's great. To me, it's beautiful. You know, it's truly the wonder of God, you know, because the universe is infinite and everlasting, right? So, what was in the Doors? What do you say? When the doors of perception are cleansed, things will appear as they truly are, infinite.
Yeah. Well, and I think I kind of wonder why they're telling us, and I think that it comes to, you know, they've slowly been breaking it out, so this way they could say, oh, see, there is life, and they don't have to say that they've been lying to us.
Right, they got to do it slowly. That's how they have to do it.
Yeah, yes.
And who knows what's like around the corner, and who knows what they're scared of, and who knows what's really going on, you know, behind the curtain.
Well, that's true too. I mean, that's the whole thing. We don't know, and you know, if they had kept honest with us from the start, yeah, there's going to be people who can't handle it, but you know, that's why we have doctors on this planet for those people. But the rest of us want to know.
Yeah, I want to know. I mean, it's our right as a citizen of Earth, basically, you know?
It is. It is. So the pyramids and even the Sphinx. So what are your thoughts on that? I mean, I would guess that the Great Pyramid was, at least this is how I understand it, that was built first, and it was probably built by some massive intelligence, and then the other ones were copies.
Yeah. Okay. See, this is how it is. Like there's definitely pyramids that were built 3,000 years ago, but we could tell which ones those were, you know?
Yeah.
When you build on top of older stuff, it means obviously the older stuff's older. So the pyramid field and the Great Pyramid and all that, that's pre-flood. That's ancient, because when you get down to the core of it, the megalithic, amazing stone blocks, and it's just, lost technology. They have saw markings, whether they're laser, digital saws, or however they did it, you could see in the stone. You just can't do that. So, I mean, those things have to have been from a technology and a culture that's, lost in time, obviously. And then on top of that, you're going to have more modern stuff. So, I would say most of the pyramids are modern, but the real pyramid, like the Giza pyramids and the Sphinx, those are ancient. And when they first went in there, and the archaeologists in the 1800s, they found salt in the Great Pyramid, sea salt, and there is evidence of seashells and everything on the Giza plateau and within the pyramid stones itself. So, however old it is, it's old enough to have been flooded at least once.
Wow, that's amazing. So I mean, but how much do you think they're hiding about it? I mean, do you think that they've got anything out of there, or do you think it's always been empty?
Nah, they pretty much went in there and documented when they were able to go in. So I don't think anything. It definitely wasn't a tomb, because they never found bodies, and it doesn't make sense that it would be a tomb anyways. As for treasures, there's no real area for treasure. I mean, it's nothing to do with gold or any of this. It's some sort of machine, ancient machine that could have been, used for uplifting consciousness. Who knows? I mean, it's some sort of field that works together with the way the stones are, the way the quartz is, the water that was obviously prevalent. And then you have all the underground tunnels and chambers and all that stuff as well. So it definitely was used for something, but it had no real treasure type value.
Some speculate that it might have been used as a power source, or that maybe they were able to, and I know this is getting out there a little, but the truth is always crazier, right? Some say that it might have been used to maybe transport people, teleport people, maybe from here to these other pyramids, wherever else.
Yeah, like Stargates, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Some say it's a weapon, some say... I think of it as more of a consciousness elevator, like to generate, because whoever built them had the understanding of the cycles of time and the procession and golden ages and dark ages. So I think, before the flood, it was kind of used to keep us elevated in tune with nature, creative, not warlike, of course. So I think that was kind of, during the last phase, what it might have been for. But I think it's been there for millions of years, actually, and it's something you can be seen from space. So it might even just be like a landing guide or something, So
sure,
it's complex, man.
So now I wonder if the next probe they send up, say to Mars or somewhere, if they're going to land it near this pyramid. Or are they going to keep avoiding it like they did the face? Because
yeah, you would think they would go straight to it and see what it's about.
Yeah, you would think so. And if you look around the face, what's even more interesting is around that face, you could see what looks like pyramids nearby it. So it looks like, you know, it might have been some kind of city. And almost, I mean, it would appear to me that these things were built so somebody would see them from the sky. What do you think? I mean, you know, because you wouldn't notice it if you were right there, right? If you were on the surface, it would just look like a big mountain, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, that's why pyramids are peculiar, because they stick out from space.
So, what does your research, all the research you've done, what does it tell you about the human origins? I mean, where do you think we originally came from? I mean, what's your idea? See, I kind of think that, you know, we may have one time been on one of these other planets in our solar system, like Mars maybe, and somehow we ended up here. But I don't know. So that's what I'm wondering. What do you think? How did we get here?
Well, I believe definitely we were on Mars for sure. Humanoid presence was on Mars. Whether we started there and came here, or whether we developed here and went there for a little while and then came back, I don't know. But I definitely, I mean, I have dreams about it too. So I've always kind of had a weird connection with Mars. So it was never scary or a big deal to me to think that there had been past civilizations there. So I think Mars was and is still like Earth. I think they put the whole red filter on there just to, you know, but because they've got caught many times showing pictures of blue skies, and now they're finding methane. And so I think what happened was maybe an asteroid strike or some sort of nuclear war, maybe destroyed the planet. And as far as Earth, it's the same thing. I mean, evolution exists to a certain extent. And then there's always something that comes in and genetically manipulates the genome. So, and I talk about in the book as well that there's no like the reptilian thing. You know, there's so much interesting aspects of that whole theory as well. But you know, if this Earth is billions of years old, there's nothing to say that we haven't been visited many times by many different species. I mean, there's the Greys. There's all the mythology that talks about us coming from Sirius. There's the Pleiades. You know, there's a popular choice as well. I believe there's just a whole bunch of alien different species and humanoid species and this and that. And there's probably even like a Star Trek intergalactic council that kind of runs over things and oversees. And you know, we don't know what aspect, you know, what Earth is in the grand scheme of, you know, the universal thing. We don't know what restrictions or what. I always thought Earth was more like a Disneyland for aliens, you know, especially at this point where it's beyond the point of actually meddling, because I think for the most part aliens are good, right? So that's why you'll see certain instances where they mess with the nuclear capabilities, right? They'll come in certain. Yeah, so I think that for the most part it's good. However, maybe the ones that have been here and been in control here might be the evil negative faction. But I think for the most part, a lot of the stuff you see in Hollywood and all of the movies is just it's just kind of propaganda and predictive programming for them to, you know, because that's like their trump card, the alien invasion, right? And whether it's fake, you know, or not, but that's like their big goal to get like a global control. So I wouldn't be too worried about that, because usually it's you know, just because you see some spaceships flying around doesn't mean it's not flown by the military.
Right, exactly. And there are people who say, well, you know, you don't know, all these crafts could be military, and I don't believe that for a minute. I think that, you know, I know what I seen wasn't military, and they'll say, well, how do you know for sure? Well, I have to say, honestly, sure, there could have been a human in this, but I've never seen anything the size. I just think it was huge. We're talking football field, and you know, I've never seen anything like that come off the airport. So if they have stuff like this, I'd like to know where they're hiding it. Because we would find it. I mean, you can't hide these things. And even underground, they're so huge. I mean, I guess it could be done, but I don't know.
I would say that 70% is our military secret programs, and about 30% is actual real bona fide alien stuff. A lot of the black triangles we see is definitely ours, and I think those are secret space program type technology that we've been developing. But yeah, there's just stuff you see that's clearly the movements they make and the capabilities they show is nothing to do with us. And if you watch all of the International Space Station feeds and the ESA feeds, they're freaking flying around in orbit all the time. they can't stop it. They're just all over the freaking place. It's crazy.
Yeah, and see, so what that tells me is that you've got these ET craft that are in our sky, and I agree with you. I think probably about 30% of them are ET, and the rest might be military. So we got these things in our sky, and it's like they I don't know if they let people see them or if something goes wrong where they just get seen, but it seems like they want people to see them. But yet, I'm wondering who's keeping it secret. Whose idea to keep it secret? Is it the government's or is it the ETs? And if that's the case, how did the ETs get all the governments to keep quiet about it for as long as they had? I mean, I know some governments are speaking out about it now, but they didn't for a while.
Yeah, that's the good thing. I mean, it might not even be all the ETs. It might just be the main, telling the main few power structures to keep everybody else in line, I guess.
And somebody had asked why they would fly those crafts where people could see them. Well, if you're talking about the ETs, I mean, maybe they don't expect to be seen. Maybe the lighting goes just right, and they appear. They probably, like our military has cloaking technology now, where they could get a tank to blend right in with the woods. You wouldn't even notice. So, but if the lighting goofs up, you see it. So I think the same thing would be with these UFOs, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, and, maybe they have no, who knows what their thought, the thought process is as well,
Yeah, so...
Who knows what type of beings they are? It's freaky, like, who knows?
Well, I hope that, if they are good, and they seem to be because they haven't done anything to us yet that I know of, although there are people who blame the ETs for everything that's going on here. So...
Well, they want to blame an evil ET that is in control of certain governments.
Yeah.
Or, which I could, we can make a case for because... the world's pretty messed up, and it seems to be like they get off on these sacrifices. When, if you look at the history of, England, like John Dee, the sorcerer, and all that, go into like the Illuminati stuff and the occult, some of the occult teachings. It wouldn't be a stretch to say that at the highest forms there is an evil ET presence that might have been in control for a long time.
Yeah, and I wouldn't mind if the good ETs would come and get them out of here, because it doesn't seem like the human race is going to step up and do anything.
And they got us now perfectly too. They're like, everyone's a zombie basically. Everybody's pilled into oblivion. It's hard to even walk around outside and just look at people. it's hard, man, because when you're aware. And then you kind of just, it's tough, dude.
It is. Well, hey, hang on with us for a moment. We've got to take a break, and then we'll come back and talk some more. So I'm going to put you on hold here for a moment, and so it'll get silent for you for a moment. We'll be a few minutes, so hang on, everybody. My guest is Xaviant Haze, and we are discussing... well, the ET phenomena, the UFO phenomena, and I understand that his line is a little muffled. Folks, I've said this before, I'll say it again. The cell phone has killed talk radio, but we'll try to manage with it for the next half an hour, and then maybe we'll make a change here, and we'll reschedule them again when we get a better line, because it'd be a really interesting conversation, but it is a little tough, and, I was hoping it would clear up, but it's not. And, folks, just so you know, we could do all the tests in the world we want before the show. Sometimes we get live, and this is the guest line is like that. And at that point, there's not a whole lot I could do unless I start putting yous all on weight and start goofing around. And I don't have 100 producers running around here, nor do I want that. So when something like this happens, he's got a cell phone. If it's either that or goodbye. So I'm going to give him a little longer, and we'll see. We'll see how it goes, and we might switch up. But, folks, stick around. This is Late Night in the Midlands. I'm Michael Vera. It is Friday night, and we are talking about stuff that's out of this world. We'll be right back. You want the truth? Late Night in the Midlands knows you deserve it. That's why we make it easy for you to listen at www.latenightinthe.midlands.com. Go on over, become a member, be informed, and by all means inform others. Folks, we're not your average radio show. We cover everything. Late Night in the Midlands on the LNM Radio Network. LNM is always looking for sponsors, so if you are interested in sponsorship or advertisement on air or on our website, contact us at mv@latenightinthe.midlands.com. If you're interested in rebroadcasting or picking up the live feed for Late Night in the Midlands, then contact us at mv@latenightinthe.midlands.com and help us help you.
Hi, I'm Joshua Vera, and I wanted to inform you that Late Night in the Midlands is offering limited on-air advertisement. With 30 and 60-second spots available, or inquire about placing your banner ad on the LNM website. Or go ahead and package a deal, but either way, get the attention you deserve and join the LNM family. Contact us at mv@latenightinthe.midlands.com. Again, that email is mv@latenightinthe.midlands.com.
We've been around a while now, and we have seen and heard many things. We have had thousands of great guests who have provided the best information, and I say that in confidence. A whole lot has changed in media and information since growing up and listening to the best.
Well, we're going to get in lots of trouble tonight, I suppose.
It has made me want to be the best. You see, in the last decade, we have seen our police become our military, and man-made deadly viruses unleashed on the public.
Coming up in the news, another case of Ebola at a Texas hospital.
And should Rochester police officers have body cameras?
Those stories and more on the way.
All this after we were told that Middle Eastern men hijacked planes and waged war on we the people.
Obviously a major fire there, and there has been some sort of explosion. We don't fully know the details. There is one report, as of yet unconfirmed, that a plane has hit of the World Trade Center, and you can see that there is smoke there coming out of at least two sides of the building.
And despite some calling me a conspiracy theorist, even mainstream media cannot hide what I have been saying for the last few years, and it is now coming to be.
We are seeing the setup of World War III, and a lot of it has to do with the oil prices.
Oil is just a small part, but more of an illusion for you and I to talk about than the truth, because free energy is real, and if I know it, so do they. So you see, everything we have been telling you is not only seen by others, who have broke free from the Matrix, but is happening right this minute and will soon be in a city or town near you.
To start a third world war, either by stimulating the Muslim world into a holy war against the West, or by using China to cause global conflict, maybe both.
The years after the millennium will see gathering conflict all over the world, to the point where the United Nations will be overwhelmed.
So keep listening to media who wants to stall you, brainwash you, and load you up on half-truths while serving an agenda of their own or the cabal.
And I was finally lucky today. I got through. And so,
Welcome to the Health Insurance Marketplace.
We're through. Okay. Hello?
Para continuar en español, marque el 2 ahora.
No. Okay. Hello? Hello?
Let's get started.
Yeah, let's get started. Okay. Hi. My name's Sean. What's yours? Hello? Hi.
What was that?
Start holding your media outlets accountable.
You know that I bashed Bush the entire time. I wasn't even allowed on Coast to Coast there for a while because I was told not to talk about Bush.
Start holding their feet to the fire. Do not allow them to lie to you for website hits or views to their videos.
Rupert Murdoch are the same person. They're not. Or that George Soros is secretly trying to take over the world. Hardly. He's spending every cent he has to stop it. George Soros may be the only billionaire that we know of that's making an effort to make this a better world. The man hasn't done anything wrong. About 30% of what's on veterans today is patently false. About 40% of what I write is at least purposely partially false, because if I didn't write false information, I wouldn't be alive.
Folks, LNM is setting the example by bringing you the truth, no matter who or what it leads to. We do not pretend to have all the answers, nor do we feed you wild stories to pick your pockets.
I love listening to John Muell. I don't know where he is. He faded away. Yeah, he's gone. They took him. He jumped into a mothership, and he's gone. That's what he said. He used to say that. He used to say, I'm in the mothership. Well, I am a robot.
Because for Late Night in the Midlands, this is not entertainment. This is life or death. Late Night in the Midlands, we cover everything, bringing the truth back to talk radio. Late Night in the Midlands. I'm Michael Vera. It's Friday night, folks, and I'll tell you, hopefully this line will clear up for him. If not, well, we'll have to. He's a very knowledgeable guest, and I'd really love to sit and speak with him for 3 full hours. I would, but we got to do something about the sound, don't we? Because I'm getting a whole bunch of complaints. I've got emails. I've got people telling me, that they can make out some, not make out at all. And I apologize. For me, I've got headphones on, and while it's still a little tough, I am making it out. And that's what cell phones do, and that's why I even ask callers if you're going to call in. I prefer you don't use cell phones, but that's what everybody has today. Everybody uses, except for me, of course. I have a landline and I have Skype that I use. Well, I use both of those. I don't use a cell phone. I don't want a cell phone. I have I don't want one of those things in my hand ever again. But anyways, folks, we're back. The website LateNightInTheMidlands.com. Go on over, become a member, and be informed. Apologize, I got some things popping up here, giving me some news and stuff, and sometimes it gets a little distracting, like it just did. The call-in number is 803-317-2264, and we're going to get back to it with my guest, Xaviant Haze. And all right, so let's do this. Let's get back. And you're welcome to call in if you want, but being that I'm getting, complaints, chances are nobody's going to call in because they can't understand, I guess. All right, so we are back, and I thank you for hanging on with us there. And some people are saying that you're still coming in a bit muffled. I don't know if is there any way, you probably don't have a landline or anything like that you can get on?
There is, but I don't know about the battery of the phone. If you want to try this number.
Yeah, well, hold. I wouldn't give it out now because we're on the air.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to, I guess the only way would be to email it to me. I could.
I'll do that right now.
All right. So why don't you do that? I'm gonna hang up with you, and then I'll give you a call back, and we'll go from there. So I'll be checking the email. All right.
All right.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye. All right, folks. So we'll see if we can't clear that up here. Let's see how that goes. I mean, if you got a landline, it's probably the best idea, I would guess. All right. So you bear with me for a moment, folks. I've got to open up some things here and do some things and get to my email and blah, blah, blah. I mean, I could put you on another break if you like, but I don't see any reason to do that. The email should come fairly quickly, and then I could get him on. If not, then we'll take another route here. All right. So while we're waiting for the email, folks, let me just say this. It's been an interesting conversation, even if you only understood half of it. And the fact is that my guest also believes that we may have certainly came from Mars and then populated this planet. I think so too. I think that, I don't know what was here before we got here, but all I know is that slowly but surely more and more is coming out. Again, remember we said there was pyramids on Mars. Remember we had Gary Legier on, right? And what? People said, conspiracy theories, they're photoshopped, or this or that, right? Then all of a sudden JPL puts it out and says, hey, look, we found a pyramid. Well, and now it's like nobody says, hey, I'm sorry for not believing you. I'm sorry for being a sheeple. But I don't want you to apologize. I just want you to open your eyes, wake up. I don't know I can't speak for other medias. I can speak for this one, though, is that I try to give out the facts the best I can. I'm not saying we're always right. But we get there a lot. We get there a lot. But you got to do your own research. All we could do is guide you down that road. And then you get that fork in the road. And you're either going to go one way or the other. It's up to you to choose which way you go, not us. I already know which way I'm going. I already know. I know we're not alone. I know that there's life within our universe. I guarantee there is. And that a great deal of our history has been suppressed from us all. And in this reality that we think we have right now, this reality is all made for. It's a matrix. It's all designed. We don't know the truth. None of us do. We don't. We could guess, we could speculate, but one thing we could say for sure is this isn't the truth. There's so much they're not telling us. So much. All right, let's see. No email yet, folks. Oh, there it is. I think it just came. And yes, it did. All right, let's go with this one. Oh, okay. And I could do it right there from Skype. Oh, good. Oh, how easy. How convenient. It's saying a mobile number. No, that ain't right. Well, let's give it a shot here. I don't know why it's telling me it's mobile, but...
Hello.
Good evening. Welcome back. You sound much better now.
Okay.
All right, that's great. All right, so sorry for the inconvenience, but my listeners were getting on my case, so...
No problem.
But the Giants, what about the Giants? Have you seen evidence of Giants, and what is their story? Because I believe in it, but, you know, there's a lot of people, you bring it up, and they say, oh, those are all fake pictures. That's not real.
No way. There's so much evidence of giants. Of course, there's a lot of Photoshop as well. But it's even all over the Bible in ancient cultures. Italy, even the term Cyclopean architecture, right? Like all the megalithic buildings in ancient Greece were attributed to the Cyclops, right? Who were giants. So the giants are amazing, incredible, probably the most interesting part of Earth's past. And you could see evidence within the writings from the early 1800s. There are pictures. They have found, like in the Lovelock Cave in Nevada, the Winnemucca Museum down there has one of the giant skulls. You could also see elongated skulls in Peru. So the giants and the elongated skulls are very interesting. And it's all part of the Smithsonian cover-up because, you know, before they decided, like the Royal Academy decided that evolution was going to be the thing that they were going to pigeonhole everybody with, right? Now, before that, pretty much everyone had accepted that there were ancient giants and Atlantis and lost cultures. There was no real dogma to say otherwise. And when the pioneers were going west, they found a bunch of mounds, right, in the Ohio Valley region, pretty much all over in the Midwest. So a lot of times when they excavated these mounds, they were finding 8-9 foot giant skeleton bones. But of course, a lot of these got swallowed up by universities and Smithsonian and lost to private collectors. So there is evidence. It's just hard to come by.
I see. Now, why do you suppose, I mean, I know this is probably a stupid question because I think we all know the answer, but why do you suppose that mainstream science has kept this from us? Why is it so important that we don't know that part of our history?
Well, because it's against what they teach, basically. You know, if they wouldn't have imposed this Darwinian theory, then it'd be a lot more open to talk about. But since they're not allowed to, basically, right? They can't really jeopardize their careers, you know. So, because that's what it boils down to with everything, right? I mean, 9/11.
Right.
5 minutes of research pretty much can you'll find out that whole official story is bullcrap, right?
Yeah.
The architects and engineers, there's over 3,000 or something, you know, pretty much listed and detailed every aspect of that thing.
Oh, yeah, there was over 3,000 of them who come forward, and you tell me how 3,000 architects could come forward and testify, and it's like it just blows over everybody's heads. Like, yeah, so whatever. Mainstream said that's not true, so it's not.
Yeah, because they're not allowed to report on it because, you know, they'll have no career. They'll get fired, they'll get killed. You know, if you're in a position where, you know, you're a professor or you're whatever, you know, you can't, very few will actually risk their mortgage and their livelihood for the truth, you know?
Right.
And, you know, the ones who do are brave and amazing, and some of them they probably just ignore, you know, but That's what it boils down to, is money. Like, they have everybody controlled by way of money. You look at the generals, you look at the military. You know, how come some cool general hasn't said, hey, you know, enough of this, and marched on Washington with this force, right? You know, I mean, everything's so compartmentalized.
Yeah.
How they're able to you know, keep everyone just focused on what they're supposed to do and their job, and everyone's easily replaced. So everybody's compromised, basically, you know.
Yeah, and you know what really scares me, and I don't mean scared like I'm in the corner shaking, but what really scares me now is that, like you mentioned, it's all about the money. Well, this financial system doesn't look, you know, it's on crutches right now.
Yeah, and this is, you know, for me, Ron Paul is my president.
I hear
you. I was never into politics, but, you know, when I heard him speak, it resonated on a level where it's like, wow, this guy's saying something true, you know? And then you kind of look him up or look into what he's been talking about. I was like, wow, this guy's been talking about this for 30 years, 20 years. I mean, this guy's always talked about this, and now stuff like this, now it's happening, you know? So, you know, Ron Paul's been talking about the Federal Reserve and the, you know, fractional reserve lending and.
Well, yeah, and look at these other countries who are wanting their gold, and the United States is telling them, well, no, you got to wait so many years, and it's because that gold, if there is any in there, it's gold plated. You know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's why Texas is funny, because that's why Texas is under attack, because, you know, they straight up went to New York and pulled all their reserves and got all their gold, and said this is, you know, now belongs to Texas. This is non-confiscatable. So, you know, they're under attack. And this is my next book, one of my next books, The Suppressed History of America Part 2, a sequel to my first one, talks about all this. It goes into the Rothschilds and Lincoln and Jackson, Andrew Jackson, and, you know, the fight for America has always been a fight against the central bank.
Yeah, well, you know, and that's what we need to do. We need to round up not only the bankers, but, you know, everybody in power in this country needs to be, and they all need to be rounded up, kicked out of office, and they need to be tried. And we need to start over. And I don't know how that happens, you know, in a peaceful way, but.
That's what Ron Paul said, too. He said, you know what, well, if you do this correctly, that's what has to be done. You know, a lot of people will hate me. It'll be changed. A lot of people, it'll be insane for a little while, but that's the only way it can be done. And that's how Andrew Jackson did it. You know, people hated on him after, like, he kicked all the bankers out and everything was messed up. So, but that's literally the only way it could be done.
Yeah, that is, and I've said it, you know, all along. It'll take, you know, maybe not every one of us, but it'll take a great number of us, and it will take our military, our sheriffs need to be on our side, and right now, I mean, things look shaky. I keep telling people World War III's already started, because if you look at everything that's going on, I think there's something like how many was it? Like 50 some wars going on in the world right now. Around the globe. One of my guests said the other night, he said most of them you don't even hear about. They're just, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you got ISIS murdering people in Tunisia, murdering people in Turkey, murdering people all over Iraq and Syria, you know. So you got this constant state of fear, constant state of warfare. All the stuff that's going on in Ukraine, which you don't hear anything about ever on American news. You know, it's.
Well, and I wonder what would the ETs think about this, I wonder. And you know, we hear often, well, they're not, you know, there's a universal law, they're not allowed to get involved. And I'm thinking, if you've got incredible technology, now would be a good time to come and free the people. But here's the problem, and I see what their issue might be. There's a great deal of people, if they seen like crafts in our sky and they landed, the first thing they would think is, oh, it's the false flag from the government. So, you know, these ETs would probably get shot at and get bricks thrown at them and God knows what else. So, I don't know where this is going to lead, but I know it's heading down a bad road right now, and you're right.
They're worried as hell. They're whatever's coming in September. They're worried about whatever that is, right? They're worried about Nibiru finally showing up. You got all kinds of amateur astronomers spotting it, so they're worried about that. If it comes into orbit, what's going to happen? If they're deploying lasers and stuff in space to be able to destroy asteroids, so that tells you that they're worried about something coming. All the messages in the crop circle are really freaky. They're giving dates.
Dates?
So yeah, and so it's September, sometime in September, weird stuff's going to be happening, supposedly. And then, World War III and the whole nuclear thing, I'm never worried about that because it's unnecessary. Like, we're at the point now where the technology is so advanced and the money is just spoiled so many people, right? I live in South Beach, so every time I walk outside my door, it's Ferraris and wealth you can even freaking imagine. It's ridiculous. Yeah. So there's no one is going to ruin that with a nuclear bomb that will basically make that whole neighborhood and real estate and everything of value obsolete. So I don't worry about those type of things. Besides, like, if Russia or China wanted to conquer us, it'd be pretty simple. You just turn off the lights. Well,
so, I think that's what, if they used a nuke, that's what it would be used for, basically an EMP.
EMP, of course. Yeah, I'm telling you something. I've lived through hurricanes, and 2 weeks without electricity is scary. And I've seen, when Katrina went through Miami first, and then I went and kind of checked it out and helped out a little up along the coast later on, a couple weeks later. But any New York City, for example, if New York City lost power for a month, it would just eat itself. You wouldn't have to do anything but watch the inner cities. Watch the ghetto, watch the crime, watch all of the people who aren't prepared for anything, let alone 3 days without, electricity.
Oh, if you went 3 days without electricity, let alone, if there was an EMP, we could go years. You can forget it. You're going to at least be in the dark for a good week, and you'd be surprised how much damage people will cause before any kind of authorities get in there to take order. So if they do it all. By the time
they come in to round them up, pretty much 80% of their jobs will be done already.
Yeah, exactly. People won't. Nowadays, too, I don't know what's wrong with people. I don't know if technology has
messed them up,
embedded in their brains or what, and screwed them up. But, people are just crazy nowadays.
I'll tell you what. The Internet has basically destroyed the attention span, right? So our attention spans are shot. Didn't like to see addiction, the constant checking, like just a smartphone. It's just transhumanism, man. You're merging with a machine without even realizing it. And then people are just dumb as rocks nowadays. There's just like this sick, weird. I don't know what it is, man. It's bad. It's bad, whatever it is. But people are just not there. It's just not happening anymore. I went through hurricanes and I explored and traveled the world and was very fortunate to see a lot of things before this age we live in, and now I just look at like, dang, I couldn't imagine. It's just crazy. It's just almost unbelievable to think about how sensitive everybody is. Everybody's so freaking sensitive.
They are. I was just saying that today. I says, it won't be long. They were talking about things like the Confederate flag. And,
oh, my God. It's out of control, man.
It is. And people don't understand. I had to tell my own daughter. She's got a head like a rock. And I told her, I said, it's not about the flag or the racism. It's about first bringing that down and then bringing the next thing down. And what they're doing is they're taking America apart piece by piece.
Exactly.
You want to talk about what flags stand for. I was just saying last night, I said, well, what about the American flag? Let's kind of evaluate that for a little while. I mean, how much evil has that flag been a part of? But we're not.
Right, now they're like, oh, we're going to ban Gone with the Wind. It's like, what?
I seen that too, yeah. They want to take Gone with the Wind off the market. And Amazon said they're going to stop selling any items with the Confederate flag on it. And I'm thinking,
they pulled a Civil War game from one of the app stores. Just because it has the flag in the background.
Well,
it's unbelievable, ridiculous. And again, like when it's funny because I just turned in the sequel to the book, The Suppressed History, right? So I just kind of turned it in, so it's still kind of fresh in my mind, more so than the aliens thing at this point. But so to see and all the stuff I wrote about, is our history, right? Because it's the suppressed history of America. So I'm writing basically after, basically from the War of 1812 up until, John Wilkes Booth, right? So it covers a lot of ground. And the whole thing of slavery was really, really insane because being from the West Coast, our experience and our view of that is totally different because we really don't have that. It's more of a pioneer family community type thing. So I was never really exposed to any of that, racist type of things, So when I went to the South for the first time, I really didn't experience it, maybe a little kind of jokingly when I was younger, but I saw the evidence, I saw like what had happened, and going through the South is definitely a learning, a unique experience, right? Traveling through Alabama and kind of going to the South and being in Atlanta is definitely a cultural difference,
There is, absolutely.
But it didn't really, it didn't become really more racist till after Obama became president, which I started to notice, and it started getting really racist, especially during after a second re-election. If they asked you on the street if you were going to vote for Obama and you were like no, they were like, you're racist. I was like, what? But then I went up north, right? And then I went up to like Philadelphia because after I was able to go to the Benjamin Franklin Philosophical Library.
Then you really seen racism, didn't you?
Yeah. Then the really. I mean, I could not believe how racist it was in Philadelphia. Downtown Philadelphia. I went there I'm pretty much very lucky. I got to see the journalist Lewis and Clark, and I got to talk to some really cool guys about it. They're really smart, educated guys, curators of museums, right?
Right.
I'm just this high school dropout who somehow wrote a book. I'm pretty much the only high school dropout who's ever held a Lewis and Clark, journal in his hands. So that's pretty cool. But
I was going to say, I see what you're talking about because I'm originally from Rochester, New York. And in New York, I see racism. I mean, it's horrible in many parts of the city and even the state. I mean, it really is. Then I came to South Carolina, and it's like it didn't exist. I mean, blacks and whites get along fine here. I've not seen any problems. I've never had one. I've been here 8 years. I can't think of one bad experience. Not one. And in New York, I could have a bad experience every single day.
Oh, yeah. New York's crazy. Yeah. New York, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Wilmington, Delaware.
Yeah.
I was shocked. I was unprepared. And then it was you learning about, slavery was everywhere, man. Like, slavery was in Delaware, New York, everywhere. It wasn't a north-south thing. It was everywhere. It was basically how the Western Hemisphere was built, man. From Rio de Janeiro to Canada, all points in between, all of it built from slavery. Then you learn that blacks owned slaves as well. So then you're like, wait a minute. and Southern blacks. So then it becomes an issue of money, right? So if you were in a position of wealth, naturally you would have slaves, no matter if you're white, black, or Chinese. So that's kind of what it really boils down to.
And thank you for saying that, because that's what I was pounding into people yesterday. I'm like, it wasn't just about, the North wasn't trying to go to war to free the slaves. They were going to war because they weren't getting their cut.
Exactly. Yeah, Lincoln, you think he cared? Like, he specifically said a few times what his thoughts were, and it's not what you've been told. It was free money. It was free labor. You know.
Yeah, exactly. And so it was nationwide. It wasn't just the South.
No, not at all. And it's horrible. And thank God it's been eradicated. But at the same time, we live in still slavery because we live in digital slavery and financial slavery.
Is that a real? Hold on a second. Is that a real picture?
It's from WIS.
Oh, WIS News has just released a picture of the White House, and it's rainbow. They've got one side's got pink, one's purple, one's green and yellow, and they've got the lights on it, so it's rainbow. So now, everybody, we know the truth about Obama. We've been waiting for it. He's come out.
Now he and his tranny wife can come out.
Yeah, exactly. Now they can come out. Tell us what they really eat. But sorry about that. Yeah, but anyways, you're right. I mean, the kids are taught in school today that the North came and they were like the superheroes. They came and freed the slaves because they went to war. And when I moved in the South is when I learned the truth. Before that, I really thought that too. I wasn't doing this show. I was asleep like a lot of people were. And then I moved here and started, I had nothing to do but research, and I was amazed. And 9/11 woke me up completely. Once that happened, that was it. You can't fool me no more.
Oh, yeah. Well, 9/11 for me, I remember I just come from the recording studio all night, and then I couldn't really, because it's hard to sleep after those type of sessions. So I couldn't really sleep. I remember kind of turning on the news. I just turned on TV in general, and just in the morning, and I remember seeing it happen because I was in Miami, and it was it was on like 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock, whatever time it was, and I remember seeing the plane hit and seeing the whole thing, and then I remember thinking that it's kind of weird, this is whatever, but as soon as I saw the implosions, I was like, oh no. Hell no, because I had seen demolitions before in Vegas,
Well,
and I already been like aware of this sort of thing because I was already into like William Cooper, Behold a Pale Horse, and I was already kind of like aware. But as soon as I saw the looked like squibs going off, you could see it, and just pancaking down. I mean, it was just like no way was that caused by some plane hitting it,
No, and there was a video of people on the ground who were saying there was just an explosion, and as a matter of fact, the very first newscast that came out that morning said we're breaking here for a moment. We just reported there was just an explosion in the World Trade Center, and then it was changed to a plane hit. So
there you go. Yep.
Yeah.
And as soon as they said the mumbo jumbo about the passport, like the terrorist passport, I was like, oh hell no! I was like, that was it for me, man. I turned that off. Man.
Yeah, I know. I like how everything gets destroyed, even the building's dust, but the passport made it.
Yeah, I was like, no, we're good.
You can't make this stuff up. It's amazing. And now Bin Laden's floating around in the ocean somewhere, apparently.
Oh yeah, that was another one. That was like Mayday or whatever. Wasn't it Mayday when they announced that?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the hidden history. I mean, what should people know? I mean, what you just went over about the South and the North, I think is excellent because that's what a Southern historian told me a few years ago here in South Carolina, and I mean, you just totally matched it. So I love that when people tell me and I know things are seriously true because it's not just one person. You get different sources who tell you the same thing. So, and that surprises some people. They're like, no, the textbooks say this. Winners write the history. I'm sure you found that as you've been.
Yeah. That's what Hitler said. No one will ever ask the victor if he told the truth.
That's right. Yeah, and it's true. It's 100% true.
Napoleon, he's like, history is a lie agreed upon.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, yeah, I mean, as far as, the South and the North and Civil War, the Civil War was incredible and it was horrible. I mean, a lot of the advancements we have in medicine kind of comes from the Civil War because it was there was no medicine back then. It was basically a shot of whiskey and that was it,
Yeah.
So it was a disgusting, horrible thing, but it was a way for the Rothschilds basically to divide the nation. At the same time, they financed and made money because, they want to have war because they benefit, right? They finance the South, they finance the North, they supply guns and weapons to both, So to them, it's a game. But the whole plan was to keep them fighting long enough to be able to divide them up. Because France wanted a part, England wanted a part, and Spain was coming through Mexico. So they just kind of waited in the wings to see what would happen, And they really got mad at Lincoln. Lincoln was the one who really screwed them over because he went to them for a loan, basically, right? Because war is expensive.
Right.
He didn't want to do it, but he had no choice, and they said, sure, we'll give you the loan. We'll give you whatever you need at, 30% interest. And he was like, no, too much. So what he did was went back and kind of figured out the scam of the Federal Reserve, right? The great game, the central loan, the banking scam. They loan governments money, right?
Right.
So once he figured that out, he created the greenbacks, and the greenbacks were debt-free American money that had nothing to do with the Rothschilds or didn't owe any sort of allegiance to any foreign banks, right? Because he found out that most of the central banks and all of where the money was 80% of it came from English banks and French banks. It came from the Rothschilds, basically. So he created the greenbacks, and the greenbacks were how he financed the war, but at the same time it was also this new debt-free money issued to Americans, and business was booming, right? People had money, right? Soldiers had money finally. The economy had money, So it was a good thing. It'd be like if the government gave everybody $20,000 on their income tax return, right? That really infuriated the Rothschilds, and then once he did that, then he also freed the slaves with the Emancipation Act. So then he really put the bullseye in his forehead,
So they killed him off, and a lot of times when you go against the establishment, that's what happens. You wind up getting offed, and
exactly.
Like Kennedy as well. And and do you see that history repeating itself today? Because I kind of do.
I do, but I don't see anyone brave enough to go against him. Like Ron Paul, basically to me proved, when he went on the debate, he just blew everybody's minds with a couple minutes he was given. He pretty much proved that whole thing's a fraud, and there's no way in hell they were going to let him be president. So any president, including Obama, knows better, right? Because could you imagine the amazing spectacle they could do now? I mean, if they wanted to kill you in public.
Oh, yeah. Well, they would just say that you were a terrorist. They had links of you being ready to go fight with ISIS. And
oh, yeah.
They'd make up
some
the
lone
story.
Nut, some lone racist, white supremacist guy had to kill Obama, but it'd be spectacular.
Oh, yeah. They'd slip a cell phone in your back pocket, and it would have all the numbers to the heads of the KKK. And
sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They know what they're doing. I mean, the CIA is that's what they're there for.
That's their job. So that's why I don't think we'll see that, because they won't allow any president to get that close to being president in the first place. And if he does become president and gets a little too smart for his own good, they'll probably give him a couple warnings and he'll know better,
Right. Well, what do you think would happen if our military finally woke up and says, you know what, enough of this, and turn their guns on them? They'd probably call in the UN and their other buddies at that point, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's compartmentalized, so if one general tried that, he'd be sequestered before anyone would even know what was going on.
Yeah.
So, it's sad. I mean, we're in a position where it's just, I don't see how we could actually pull it off, really.
I don't either. I think the only way we'd be able to do it, and it wouldn't be without a whole lot of bloodshed, is if that every one of us came together and and I don't mean come together like in Baltimore where you're burning down mom and pop shops and flipping over cars. I mean come together and go where the evil is, where the problems are. Like, you go to the White House, you arrest the president. I mean, if there's 300 million of us, he might hesitate to, swing on any of us. And,
That's what I'm saying, yeah. You'd have to have a whole, 100 million people show up.
Well, and even then they would probably, blow a bomb off in there and say, oh, it was a terrorist who did it.
True.
Yeah, but we have to do, I mean, at some point, if we ever want to be free again, we have to do it because we're not free right now.
Now, it's an illusion, and that's why traveling is important. And if you're young, I advise you to, travel as much as you can before you do anything stupid,
yeah.
Blowing all your money and having kids or getting a drug habit or a bunch of tattoos, travel first, see the world, and then when you come back, you'll be a lot more prepared and wiser.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got my 16-year-old son. He's with me for the summer, and I'm training him in this with the radio show and all that, and I'm not pushing it on him, but if it's something he enjoys enough and wants to take over later, in life, then it'd be nice to, I want my kids to know the truth, and I want them to know that it's okay to fight back. They need to know, and that there's ways they can do it. So, I'm doing my part. Now everybody, needs to do theirs. Did you hear about the woman who might do 3 decades in prison because she cured her son of Crohn's disease with hemp oil?
Unbelievable.
It's amazing. I mean,
unbelievable.
That's what I mean. We're in a prison state right now. We're not
and
free.
Every time I see a commercial or an advertisement or somebody Sean, the guy from Napster, he donated a bunch of money to it's like, dude, they already can cure anything. The money's in the treatment.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We know there's cures for cancer.
We know it.
I know for a fact because my wife and I, we put together a contraption that another doctor had suggested to us. And it's just nothing more than baking soda and black syrup, maple syrup. And we mixed it up, warmed it up, gave it to him, and with 3 weeks he was fine. They didn't find no more cancer in his liver or his bladder. So yeah, and I wouldn't make up these lies. It's true. So people, what do you got to lose? I mean, try it.
Absolutely, better than the chemo, which I can understand anyone taking that in the first place.
Yeah, I know. I watched my mother go through it, and she was
my grandfather saying, yeah,
she was fine until they put the needle in her and started pumping in the poison. And after that, it was over.
And that's what did Bob Marley in too. Bob Marley, the CIA gave him cancer, but he went for the initial radiation treatment to New York, and by the time he got to the doctor in Germany who could have cured him, he was too late.
Yeah, and this is the thing. And then you look at the American Cancer Society, and on their website they have they make a disclaimer statement that we do not agree that baking soda can cure cancers, and they mention a couple doctors on there who have been curing people.
Wow.
But they say that, and I'm thinking with all the billions of dollars you've taken in for cancer research, you haven't put together one research study and tried the baking soda? I mean, it would have cost what, a couple $100 maybe for
a big budget for baking soda.
Yeah, I know, and they don't do it, but they do all these other ones. Well, let's try radiation in the brain. Let's see what that does.
Oh God.
Unbelievable. So, lost civilizations. Looking back at any of the lost civilizations, is there more than we hear about in mainstream? And have you found any to have gone down maybe the way we're going down now? I mean, do you see that history repeating itself?
Well, I've always thought that America was the modern-day Atlantis. So maybe not like being swallowed up into the ocean, but just metaphorically. And that's kind of what Atlantis is in the first place. I mean, I don't think there's like one real Atlantis. I mean, there's a bunch of them. Anything that's pre-flood, though, that's sort of an Atlantean type civilization, right? And I think there's a bunch of them that are just waiting to be found on the bottom of the ocean, for sure. Plus, there's probably many more that are still buried underneath the sands. I mean, Egypt, 70% is still buried underneath the sands. They're finding all kinds of stuff in Saudi Arabia, you know, the satellite technology, you know. Plus, Persia is incredible. I mean, we can't even go into Iran. If they found all that crazy stuff in Iraq, imagine what's still in Iran, you know. I have books, like the sketchbooks from the 1800s of Hafiz, who was a famous French archaeologist and illustrator. And his sketchings of Iran and, like, Persepolis, right, in Persia, show the little declamp mark things, right, that the ancient architecture had. You know what I'm talking about? The metal clamps.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, I've found just in the sketchbooks at least 4 other places that we're not even familiar with that show the same type of archaeology. We're talking ancient Crete, places in ancient Italy, and so you found the proof of these things in Peru, and Bolivia, Egypt, Iran, you know, all over the world. And then you throw in the elongated skulls aspect, and you're not going to tell me that every single elongated skull was because it was binding, you know. In the first place, there had to have been a true elongated skull for them to even want to copycat that, because there's no reason why they'd do that in the first place. So they're imitating something, right? And then most of it is imitating what? I mean, were the reptilians elongated skulls? I mean, who was this culture that had the elongated skull that lived on Earth at some point in history, right? So there's just so much. And I think when you see like Malta, you know, this massive megalithic, you know, amphitheater looking thing. I can't remember what it's called, but it's, you know, it's there. I mean, it's in the fact that they built it in stone, you know, is really, really incredible, because that means they understood how long it could last, you know? If you want to build something that's going to be around for thousands and thousands of years, why not build it in a material that can last that long? And, you know, I think our ancient cities are going to be standing around, you know, 2,000, 3,000 years from now.
That's true. And somebody had just asked about reptilians, too, as whether they were real. And so you think that these skulls, I mean, they could be of reptilian in nature, right?
Yeah, we don't know. It could be, but I mean, we do know for sure that every ancient culture has a myth related to the reptilians, and a lot of them are very, very, you know, very adamant in saying that they even gave the knowledge. You know, and there are some of the, like for me, when I think about the.
Uh-oh. I think we lost you. Yep, I'm not hearing them. Well, I'll tell you what, it's time for a break. So if you could hear me, we're going to go on a break, and then we'll bring you back on to finish up tonight. So hang on with me. Don't hang on. Just hang on until I call you back. He's got some phone line problems tonight, folks, if you couldn't tell. But hey, we got a little stretch there of good convo. So let's take this break, and then we'll come back. My guest is Xaviant Haze, and he's linked up over on our website at latenightintthemidlands.com. And I urge you to become a member. Be informed. And by all means, inform others. I have more I want to talk to him about. I want to ask him about robot zombies. Yes, robot zombies. DARPA folks, they're always behind these things, robot zombies. So let's take this break. This is Late Night in the Midlands. We'll be right back.
LNM Radio has joined with the Hardened Structures team to provide state-of-the-art survival shelter design and build services at LNM Radio exclusive rates. Hardened Structures, with over 21 years experience in military, commercial, and private shelter design build services, are also offering LNM Radio listeners a free consultation, normally a $500 value. So click on the Hardened Structures banner on the home page or the chat and listen page and have peace of mind that no matter what happens, your family is protected.
The LNM Radio Network and Late Night in the Midlands depends on you, the listener. Without you, there would be no us. So help us continue to bring you the best guests with the best information and subscribe today. Information on becoming an LNM subscriber can be found at the top of LateNightInTheMidlands.com. Just click the About Subscriptions tab and become part of the family while helping the truth stay alive. And while you're at it, maybe subscriptions aren't for you. A one-time donation helps as well. Click that donate button on the right side of LateNightInTheMidlands.com and help us help you. You want the truth? Late Night in the Midlands knows you deserve it. That's why we make it easy for you to listen at www.latenightinthe.midlands.com. Go on over, become a member, be informed, and by all means, inform others. Folks, we're not your average radio show. We cover everything. Late Night in the Midlands on the LNM Radio Network. LNM is always looking for sponsors, so if you are interested in sponsorship or advertisement, on air or on our website, contact us at mv@latenightinthe.midlands.com. The LNM Radio Network offers a moderated chat room at www.latenightinthe.midlands.com. Just click the chat and listen page from the drop-down menu at the top of any page on the website, or click the Listen Live button at the top of the homepage at www.latenightinthe.midlands.com.
At The Secret Teachings, we are not a part of any group, label, and we do not attempt to fearmonger, as some of the topics we discuss may seem scary. I advise you not to be afraid, but to be informed as we discuss current events and ancient history, astrotheology and symbolism, the paranormal and the occult, the esoteric, health, and much more. I am not here to tell you that what I say is truth, but to allow you to decide for yourself based on the evidence presented and the dots connected. Information is not negative. It is how you view it that determines the dimensional characteristics of either dual aspect of negativity or positivity. To catch the show, we air every Saturday on the Dark Matter Radio Network at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and every Sunday on the LNM Radio Network at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can also listen and download past episodes for free at thesecretteachings.info. Try as you might, but no amount of disinformation, propaganda, rhetoric, or trolling will change the truth. The truth is the truth, regardless if the masses accept it as is, or if it is accepted by only 1 out of billions. It is no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society. For more information, you can visit thesecretteachings.info. Namaste.
Late Night in the Midlands began as a hobby and became a mission, and is now a 24-hour radio station, and we cover everything and expose the truth one show at a time. The LNM Radio Network, shining a light at the end of the tunnel.
For 15 years, I've been obsessed to find out what was going on inside of him. It's been my life work and my ultimate failure. This force, this thing that lived inside of him came from a source too violent, too deadly for you to imagine. It grew inside him, contaminating his soul. It was pure evil.
It's the middle of the night and there's nothing much to do. Bring your insomniac self over to Late Night in the Midlands and learn something. We've got every topic you can think of with very little being off limits. Alien abductions, government corruptions, the stuff that's got your sleep disrupted. Come join the conversation tales and tune into Late Night in the Midlands with your host, Michael Vera.
Hey, we got pretty far, a lot further than I thought we were gonna. So, if not, then so be it. It's been one of those weeks, folks. It happens. All I could do is I could guarantee that on my end, everything's going to be as great as it can be, as perfect as it can be. And I mean the equipment and the connections and all that. The guest end, I can't always guarantee that, if, like you look at like a Coast to Coast, and obviously he's got, a few producers there who, they do pre-interviews and then they, and again, you could do that, but that doesn't mean on the day of the show that it's still going to be a good line. And I've heard of guests who have gone and got motel rooms. Gordon James Giannotto told me that. He says that he had to go get a motel room in order to be a guest on Coast because they want him to have a landline. And it's just amazing. I mean, people will run to get on that Coast to Coast AM. Not me. Not me. As a matter of fact, I won't go there. I'll just leave it alone. But let me try to get my guest on. Yeah, I'm not mad enough to go there tonight, so I'll just leave it alone. All right. Yeah, we're about, but hey, here, I do want to get this out. The guest website is linked up on the homepage of LateNightInTheMidlands.com, so go check it out. It's there. Go check out his links, his website. A lot of good information. We'll try to have him back so that we can have a clear, much better show and do this again with him at a later date. Maybe we'll get him on with Michael Cremo next time and have the both of them on together. And we'll make sure that their lines are good. I'll call them 15 minutes before the show and make sure if I have to do it myself. But, all right. So, I am going to bring on my trusty good friend and cosmonaut, Mr. Ira. Ira, people might get sick of hearing us sometimes, but, hey, it is what it is. It's... I could call on another guest, but what justice am I doing them? We got an hour left.
About that, yeah.
About that. So, anyways, and by the way, in the last 15 minutes tonight, Joshua's going to join me here as well. So, we're going to pull him on. He's got to get used to it. I've been teaching him little by little. It's a lot, when you're not, like when I first started this, Ira, it was a lot, a real lot for me. I made so many mistakes before I got it right, because all these other shows that, I would talk to, and I'd talk to the host, and I'd ask them for tips and this and that, how do you doing this? Well, they don't want to tell you anything. It's like, well, so when I first started, my microphone was my cell phone. And
oh, wow.
and I put a pair of headphones with a mic on, right? And I thought that I could set the cell phone down and just talk into my mic. Well, I did a host show, and it was horrible. You couldn't hear anything. The callers were on there going, hello. I could, and I had the phone down the whole time. It was just what a nightmare. But eventually I started learning. And so he's lucky. He's got me. So I'll teach him the ropes. And if he wants to do this, great. If not, I've got other sons. Of course, we've got Ira. He's going to live to 135. So... I won't.
And crotchety about it the whole way.
Yeah, because you might be one of the last, because you keep saying you can't see very good, so they think what you mean is you don't know the truth. So
exactly, there you go. They'll leave me alone. I have yet to really encounter too many trolls in my experiences yet. I have yet to be hit by the legions, so I guess I'm either doing things wrong or I'm being hidden well.
No, you're not doing things wrong. It takes a while. See, it took me my first year, not much, just your regular chat room troll kind of thing. And then it was in the second year, I was almost to the second year. My big thing was I brought Dr. Horowitz and Sherry Kane on. And the minute I did that is when it all began. That
opened the floodgates.
It opened the floodgates because the COINTELPRO wanted to make sure that I wouldn't have them on again. But I did. And so then I became a target. And so it moved on and on. I'm not kidding. I'm serious as a heart attack. And, I take heart attacks very serious.
Especially now.
Yeah, especially now. But that's how that went down. So it'll take a little while. You're probably already being attacked and stuff. You just don't know it yet.
Oh, I'm sure.
Nobody's grabbed it and sent it to you yet, but it'll happen.
Yep. My thing is, I don't care. They can attack me as much as they want to. They can say whatever they want to about me, but family is family, and that's a different subject. That's one place I'd never allow them to go. A lot like you.
Yeah. Well, exactly, and believe me, I've learned it's like that. You get the rookie cop. You ever see the rookie cop wants to hop every fence and chase down the guy, right? The veteran cop says, piss on it, let him go. Right?
I'm too old for that.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of how it is in radio too. It's like when I first started, I'd fight with these boutons like left and right, and that's what they wanted. And I learned, so I don't know more. I just tell them that they're a moron because they really are, and then I move on.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
So speaking of morons, did you hear that they've now released a survey saying that it is official? People are sick of talking to people that don't listen, sick of talking to idiots, trying to explain things to idiots.
Well, I don't know. I've been blinded by a rainbow flag all day. Obama's got if you go look on the White House, I think their Facebook page or even their website, they've got the colored lights on the well. So Obama has finally come out of the woods. He's telling everybody, hey, you know what? Now Michelle could take off the wig and let the hair grow in on her face, and they could it's legal for them too.
Yeah, exactly. I found a picture a while ago that I thought was rather fitting in a ironic sort of way. They're bringing down the Confederate flag, and now they're putting up the rainbow flag.
I can only laugh because you're so right. It's amazing. Oh, and get this. In Illinois, I had a fan, or listener, I should say. I don't have fans. I have listeners. I had a listener who called in, or not called in, but wrote in, and he says that we got him fired up last night with getting into this stuff, and that he wanted to let us know that we were right about these things, and that did you know that in Illinois there's a Mexican house that has the Mexican flag up hanging out front of their house, so but nobody's complaining about that, but don't put a Confederate flag out.
Yeah, absolutely. If people go to my Facebook page, I'm listed as Ira Robinson there on Facebook. I have 2 pictures of flags. I just put it up. Let's just offend everybody. It's got the rainbow in the background. It's got the Confederate stars and bars, and it's a Nazi swastika in the center of it with upside down pentagrams for the stars throughout it all. And it's just let's just freaking offend everybody and get it all over with.
Oh, and Crystal's right too. Yes, I'm sorry. Thank you for correcting me. I always have to admit when I'm wrong. I'm sorry. It's not the White House. It is the Rainbow House.
Yep, there you go.
Yep, Rainbow Bright. So is that what we call them now? Rainbow Bright. I mean,
Rainbow Bright. Yep.
It's we've talked about this before. I could care less if you're gay. I've got friends who are gay, and you know what? I'm not. I'm not against it. I don't care what you do. What I am against, though, is it being thrown in our face, it being put on as an agenda. It's, really, it's being used. It's being used in an agenda. Other than that, I really don't care. If you want to, my thing is, though, did you need permission from the government to love who you love? I mean,
yes, exactly.
You know what motivates these things? Money. Because, now I can't get the benefits when so-and-so dies because we're not married. And, if so-and-so leaves a will to you, yes, you can. See, for me, I don't need a certificate from no government agency or no church to tell me that I'm truly committed and in love with the person I'm with. I don't need that. I don't have that. I don't want that. It's for me, there's no need. Why get them involved? Then what happens when couples want to get divorced or what have you, right? What do you got to do? No, you got to bring the court system into it. You see, they get involved in everything, and that's where my problem is with it. But, my parents were married for almost 50 years. Until my mother passed away, and God bless them, but it was different then than it is now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't disagree with the decision that they made in the Supreme Court today with it. I don't disagree with it, but I don't agree with it either. It should have been left in the states' hands.
It should have.
That's what the states were for.
You're right.
That's why the whole Civil War took place to begin with, right?
Yeah. You're right. It should have said. For me, I mean, my personal opinion, and again, I don't care what you do. But for me, and I'm heterosexual, so for me, it's marriage. I see a man and a woman. That's who I am. But am I against you two guys getting married? No, as long as you're not sleeping on my couch, I don't care. You do whatever you want.
Unless you're paying rent.
Yeah, if you're paying rent. Well, you can sleep on the couch. You just can't do anything else on it.
There you go.
Yeah. But, so for me, and I have a right to say that because that's the way I was brought up and raised. That's the way my life is. That's the way my world, that's how my world is. So, I can, it's okay for you to do and be whoever you are because I don't have to lay down with you at night. So I don't care. But, don't drag me into your business either. Because again, I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, that's my thing is that I have a very much a live and let live sort of mentality. If somebody wants to do something in the privacy of their own home, that's the privacy of their own home. It's none of my business, and I don't care what they do. But the problem is that everybody seems to want to make it my business, so and that's where the problem comes in.
and look what they've done. Look at how Obama and the government, look at how they have pushed this agenda, because it's going to go from the gay marriage agenda or the gay, that's part of breaking up the family too, by the way. I mean, that's why they're so with this, because they want us, for one, they want us to fight about it. I'm not going to fight with anyone about it, because if you try to argue with me about it, you're just an idiot, and I'll hang up on you, because there's nothing to fight about. I have my ways, you have yours. But they're using it also, really, the country has gotten soft. I mean, it's just everything, hush, hush, don't offend nobody. Shh, quiet. You're not allowed to give your opinion unless it's okay with everybody, unless everyone agrees. It's like, that's not America. This is not our country. Now, look what they do to the American flag, too, by the way. Making it rainbows. And nobody complains about that. But, don't put an X and some stars on there. Oh, no.
Oh, no, exactly. I mean, I want people to recognize, though, the timing with this. You had the whole Confederate flag issue coming up during this week. And now, for those that weren't interested in that controversy and that distraction, now you're going to get caught up in the gay marriage argument that's now going to be taking place, and it's already raging across social media, and everybody's bitching and whining at everybody else about, oh my God said this, and oh well, you don't you judge, and all this, everything. It's all blowing up all over the place. You're either going to be distracted by the flag, or you're going to be distracted by the other flag, right? It's one flag or another, basically, in this point in time. And in the meantime, we're all getting completely screwed, because the TPP just got accepted into the fast tracking. They're going to ramrod it through, and we're going to be officially done as a country, because at that point, we're no longer any kind of country. We are a fascist state. We are literally going to be owned by the corporations. But is anybody talking about that? No, because they're too busy arguing over the flag, and they're too busy arguing over whether or not two gay guys decide that they can get married.
Exactly. I mean, this is it. This is what I mean. It's not that I'm against it or I care if you get married. It's about it being thrown into my face and trying to distract me from what's really going on. Yeah, you're right. TPP, forget it. I mean, it's over. And people are just sitting back and doing nothing. I mean, hey, come on. I'm in Columbia, South Carolina. You people want to start making a difference? Just go ahead, and I'll join you, but it better be peaceful. I won't, if I'm involved and someone starts throwing stuff through windows, I'm going to punch you in the face and knock you out.
Yeah, exactly. The first person I see trying to burn down a Little Caesars is getting decked.
Yeah, I'm not going to put up with that. I'll put a brick over your head.
Exactly. Why not go burn down the banks? That they would make a difference.
Well,
if you're going to do something, right?
Well, hey, listen. Now you're a white guy, and you just said that. Now back in that other case in Baltimore, when the stepfather said, "Burn this bitch down, burn this bitch down," I mean, that was okay. But now you're a white guy, and you just said that, so watch it now.
Yeah. See, they're going to use that. That'll be the troll factor, right?
Exactly. So now someone goes and burns a bank down and says, well, that white guy on the radio told me to do it.
He's a white supremacist.
Well, you're a terrorist because you're
terrorist.
White. Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
But white people are terrorists.
Well, exactly. I mean, that's now official. White people are terrorists at this point.
Yep, exactly. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And people falling for this. I was just telling Autumn, it's like, you know what? I'm to the point where I just want to get out of this country. But then you think about it, where are you going? Where are you going? The whole world's screwed. Don't sit over there in your country and smile because we've got a rainbow flag today. Don't smile at us because it's coming to you too. If it can happen in America, it can happen anywhere.
Well, exactly. See, that you're going to get me on my soapbox here. Okay.
Go for it. Kick their ass.
I hear all the time. Listen, I used to be a smoker, okay? And I would hear people complaining all the time about the fact that I smoked.
Were you also a toker? The midnight smoker?
I used to be. Right, way back in the day, I was a midnight smoker. I used to smoke, so I would hear people arguing about it, and they started banning smoking in public places and places where people can be and all this sort of jazz. And people started screaming and shouting about how great that was. Oh, wonderful. Let's ban and banish and treat like crap those horrible, horrific smokers. They deserve it, okay? Well, I told people whether or not I smoked or not doesn't matter. The issue is this. You should not support the fact that somebody's rights were being taken away, okay? Because if they can do it to the smokers, they can do it to anybody. And what happened next? They're starting on the sodas. You see, they started doing it to the smokers. They realized they could get away with it. And so then they started with the trans fat stuff. And once they got that going, then they started with the sugary drinks and, we have to help people because they're getting too fat and obese. Well, in their logic, they're right.
So, but, exactly. But, they could have just, okay, let the states go ahead and okay it, but does it have to be as big a deal where the White House puts lights out on the lawn for it? It's like, I mean, really? Hey, I'm straight. Can someone throw a party for me?
Well, I guess they go with their base because, listen, I'm not going to be politically correct about anything. Political correctness is the bane of our existence. The flat-out reason for it is because, frankly, a lot of gay people, and the vast majority of them, are Democrats. They fall under that category. So they know where their voting base is. They're celebrating it so that they can push the Democratic proponents, further on this campaign trail that they're currently on. I guarantee you Hillary Clinton is going to latch onto this like a hungry kid on a teat. She is not going to let this go.
Well, Hillary might come out now and admit she's really a man. So,
it very well could be.
We got that going too. So you're going to find out we've had gay couples in the White House, well, in the Rainbow House for a long time. See?
Very well could be.
Yeah, I wonder what Bush. I bet it. Never mind. I'll stop. I gotta stop. It's gonna get nasty.
Joe almost went there on our show today too. So.
I so want to. Sometimes I wish we were just this rated R comedy station. But no, I won't go there. But yeah, so. So today the White House is pink, and look, if there really are terrorists who are out to get us, all I can say is now's the time. We put the pink lights on the White House, and it's over. They're gonna come now. You know how they feel about women. How do you think they feel about gay people?
Oh yeah. Well,
they're gonna cut off everyone's head. No.
We're about to get hit with a bunch of flaming fireballs. I guarantee it, because God's going to be all ticked off about everything.
Oh yeah, you'll remember. It's according to the Bible. Wasn't there a town that got destroyed because of homosexuality?
Well, that is what the mythology now says. That was Sodom and Gomorrah. They were supposedly destroyed because God abhorred homosexuality and so on and so forth. But in reality, if you read actually the verses that the Bible has to say, it says that the sin of Sodom and Gomorrah was the fact that they were inhospitable to the visitors.
Oh, I've been preparing, because if that's the case, then God's going to give us a big shake-up down here. So I go to the local bar there and ride that bull, so I get used to getting shook and thrown around, because it's coming.
Yeah, I mean, it's, supposedly we are in this Christian country, and that we, are now being condemned by God now because we've now allowed gay marriage to be legal here. So, there's other countries where that's legal, and so far they've not been utterly destroyed off of the face of the earth. So I'm not expecting that kind of thing is going to occur.
I live in the Bible Belt of South Carolina, and let me tell you what we have in the Bible Belt. We have hookers, we have drug dealers, we have drug users. We've got men who will punch women in faces and people who steal. I mean, we got it all here in the Bible Belt. On Sundays at a certain time, I think Saturday night at midnight, they go into Walmarts down here and they get this yellow tape and they tape off parts of the store because of the religion that they don't sell certain items until a certain time. Yeah, they do that here. They do all that. But, man, let me tell you. Go check out the local Craigslist. And tell me we're in the Bible Belt.
Yeah. We have kind of similar up here in Indiana. We're dry on Sundays. They're not allowed to sell any alcohol on Sundays at all, and they've been trying to get that changed for 25 years, and I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. But supposedly we're kind of like a northern extension of the Bible Belt here.
Hey, look, like I was saying before, it's the people there was a woman on Facebook. I'll mention no names, because, I just won't. But she says, I don't care what anybody says about Barack Obama. I love that man. Look what he's done, because he's given them permission to be gay with each other. So.
Right. And see, that's the thing that aggravates me is the fact that they have, quote unquote, deemed it appropriate for us to be able to do this if we so desire to do so. Who gave them the right to be able to say whether or not I could live my life in one way or another? I'm a human being and I'm born into this world as my own person. It's my decision, correct? But no, when you're here in America, you're still owned by the leaders. So,
well, here's my point: is that they might say, well, you wait for things to be legal too. No, I smoked pot back when I was younger. It wasn't legal. I didn't give a damn that it was legal. I was still going to get it and smoke it when I wanted it. So, so it really didn't matter to me. And it don't matter to me today if they legalize it or not. I'll still smoke it. So it's good that they're legalizing it, but I don't need their permission. I do what I want. The only thing I don't do, and there is a law against it, but it's common sense, is I don't kill people. I don't hurt people. I don't steal from people. I don't lie to people. And, this is common sense. So, do we need laws or we just need more guns? I think we need more guns.
Well, they think that we need more laws. There's 1,000 new laws that are written into the books every year by Congress that we're all supposed to memorize and know. So, did you memorize your 1,000 new laws this year?
No, as a matter of fact, I try to forget as many of them as I can. I'd like to play stupid when it comes to that stuff. It's didn't you? I love how they come up to do you realize why I pulled you over? No, yeah, because you're a cop. I don't know what answer you didn't give me multiple choice.
Yeah, I was pulled over one time, and the cop asked me if I knew why I was pulled over. I said, well, because you're bored.
Yeah, it's like
he didn't like the answer too much.
It's like you're going to reach in your pocket and say, well, it had to be because of this big bag of weed, No, why did you pull me over? It surprised me.
Can't be because of that rotting body in the back of the trunk. Yeah. You couldn't have seen that.
Surprised me. I love surprises. Ooh, goody, goody, goody. Let's play. It's like, survey says... Another
gotta
number.
love it.
You do. But anyways, outside of our rainbow house now, so we're a proud country. We're getting rid of racism because we're taking down flags, monuments soon to go. Oh, and believe me, folks, your music's next.
It is.
I was comparing it, saying how Amazon's still selling racial CDs that, which I don't care. If that's what you want, go buy that stuff. But I do care when they take down one thing because of that, for that reason, but then they allow the other thing. That's a double-sided coin. I don't play like that. I don't like.
Yeah, I give the proof of they're removing the Confederate flag, but they're still selling Nazi paraphernalia. You can still buy Nazi flags, gay flags, communist flags, and those are okay.
Oh yeah,
you can burn and stomp on the American flag, but the Confederate flag, oh no, we're not going to have any of that.
And you can get some of that stuff right over there on that Truot site.
You got it.
Yeah, he sells a lot of that stuff on his little store.
Got him right there on the bibs.
Yeah, he's right on the bibs. Nuke Israel, kill Jews. And it's just it's unbelievable. You would think what gets me is I'm surprised that gay marriage has been legalized before marijuana. Completely throughout the whole country. You know what I mean? I was.
It
watching
doesn't surprise me because here in America we have it legal in 5 states to be able to use marijuana recreationally, but it's still legal to have sex with horses in 23 states. So,
you can have sex with horses in 23 states?
Yeah, it's totally legal to have sex with horses in 23 states.
Can I marry the horse?
I don't know, but in Indiana, for instance, you can't have sex with a goat on an elevator on a Sunday.
Well, why? So I can do it 6 days a week, but not on Sunday.
But not on Sundays. Sunday's not cool.
So Sunday I get to go play pool with the guys, and I don't have to worry about the goat.
The goats are safe, yeah.
Oh, all right.
They need a day of rest too, right?
Yeah, they sure do. What about sheep? Do they count?
Sheep are okay. Sheep you can pretty much violate whenever you want. So.
Oh, Well, that's good. And you can make a coat and socks.
You got it. Be warm at the same time.
Bah. You know, that's all I can say.
That's bad.
See what happens, folks, when lines go bad on this show? But,
things get weird.
Yeah, things do get weird. But hey, you know, on a happier note, yeah, the world's going to end. Well, not the world's not going to end, but civilization as you know it is coming to a close, folks. Yep, the curtain's drawing. The little man is putting out the little sign that says applaud. You know, it's over. It's the end. Game over.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding. No more guys.
It absolutely is. Stick a spork in us. We're ready to eat.
And not because the White House became the Rainbow House. That's not what I'm talking about. World ain't over because of gays or because of blacks or because of whites. The world is over because of technology, because people have gotten so caught up in their technology that they don't give a damn no more. I get tired. I can't wait for the weekend sometimes, Ira, because when there's so much going on, like we'll have dead spots in the news, then all of a sudden it just bam, they hit us from every damn way, and it tires me out. And I'm like, thank God it's Friday.
It is exhausting.
Thank God after this show I don't have to think about this stuff for at least a day. I at least get one day off. I do take one day and try not to do too much work. I still do work, but man, I'll tell you, it does. It tires you out. It's just, you think, I keep fanning through my head. It's like, so there's over 300 million people in this country, and everybody's okay with this horse shit? Really? Everyone's okay with this?
Yeah, exactly.
Or what? We can't do this without burning down mom and pops? We can't do this, right? I mean, what's going on, folks? Come on. I got kids. I got grandkids. How about some of you? You got those? So what? You don't care because you're going to be dead soon and it ain't going to matter anyways. I won't be here. Yeah, but others will. And so they should suffer for you being lazy and not doing anything about it. And, you know, listen, if people get together, we need organizers. Let's organizers get together and start organizing. And let's all make a pact that if anybody infiltrates and causes problems, we stomp them. They're done. They're out. And let's turn this thing around. I mean, I'll walk out my front door and join just as soon as this thing's organized. I'm all for it. I'll broadcast live during the whole thing. I'll set it up. Me and I are both. But you know, someone's got to organize. We got to do this right. It's not about occupied in the mainstream media ask you why you're there. And you, I don't know. I just followed everybody else. You know. You got to know what you're doing. You got to know why you're out there. And if you don't know, then it probably don't matter to you, and I'd rather you weren't with us.
Yeah, don't be a follower, because that's just adding right into the sheeple mentality. Be awake and be aware. I mean, there is enough information out there. We have the internet at our fingertips. And for some of us, literally, you know, those of you that use the smartphones, you have the internet right there in your little browser. You can literally learn anything about anything. Why just watch kitten videos? You know, I mean, that is the most popular thing on the internet. You could literally learn anything that you want to do. You could go to the different websites for Harvard and Yale and all of that kind of stuff, and you could actually get a degreed education. They have their entire education program there on the internet for you to go and learn. If you wanted to go learn electrical engineering, you could learn the whole process of electrical engineering. You just wouldn't have the paper at the end, but you could still learn it. These things are important. The fact that we have this stuff available to us at our fingertips right in the here and now, take advantage of it. Learn what is going on. Learn skills that you need to survive. Learn how to take care of yourself in emergencies. On and on and on. All of these things are right there. There is no excuse for anybody anymore to be dumb.
You know what, Ira? I'm a nobody really in the big picture in the world, right? But I'll say this: if all the people got together and polled, because I had somebody the other night who says that. You never become president. But if you got enough people behind you and they made sure that it was done right, I would love to be president, because I wouldn't do what they said. I would expose things left and right. Yeah, I know I'd probably wind up dead. I'm aware of that. But boy, let me in there, I would expose stuff fast. They would take me out quickly, but I'd do it.
It'd be a worthwhile death. That would be a death worthy of its name, seriously, because that would wake people up. That would actually get the information out to we the people that is needing to get out there.
Yeah, I would just love to be in the debates, because I wouldn't play with their rules. She'd be like, okay, time. I'd be like, time's up when I say it's up. I just keep
exactly.
Talking. Yeah. I figure we would probably wind up throwing blows before it was over, because they're just so calm because they're they know what they're doing. It's like professional wrestling. They already know who's going to win.
Yeah, so. It's all planned out way ahead of time. Yep, indeed.
Yeah.
That's the way it is in the world today. They give us the illusion of choice, but that's all that it is. It's the illusion. We really don't have any choice in what happens unless we all gather together and change the way that the system is.
Well,
that's the only way it's going to end up happening.
Well, I'll say this. Of everybody I've talked to this year who plans on running for president, I'd love to do it. I would do it if people, they'd probably try to destroy me, but I'm not doing it. But I'm saying I would. But of everybody who has been on the show and said they're running for president, Andrew Bishago, we've had David Koss was on, of course. Jesse Ventura plans on running if everybody else does the work for him. And so if these three were to get in there and actually get into debates, which I doubt will happen, but if they did, man, I would buy tickets to that. I would buy tickets.
Oh, hell yeah.
Because David would start telling Hillary about the moon and what's going to happen. And I would love to see her face when he told her that. Andrew would be talking about how Obama was on Mars with him. And that would be just incredibly, I would love it. And then who else we got? I'm leaving somebody out here. But anyways, it would be worth the price of admission. Oh, Jesse Ventura.
Yeah, Jesse.
That would be. It would be worth it. Even though, and that's why I asked Andy the other night. I says, how could people be sure that you're being elected and not selected? And he says that's David Icke is the one who pretty much put it out there that presidents are selected, not elected, but they are. They are, because even if the votes are being fixed, they're still being selected because they're picking who they want. So, and you got dead people voting. You know how many dead people voted for Obama? Holy cow.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, and you know how many Social Security numbers he has? It's just amazing anyways. But so I don't know. I question anybody who gets in there. I want to know how you did it. How'd you get in there?
Well, exactly. Anybody that gets into any of these big offices, really anything above county level, they're bought and paid for. They're owned by whoever got them in there. There's no denying it. You look at their track record of what they vote on and what they talk about and who they meet with even, and you see that they are owned by one corporation or another. They're owned by one lobbying agency or another. It's never been about we the people,
No. No, it never will be unless we make it be. And we're getting so far out there, Ira. I've always said there's hope, but it's getting slim, man. It's getting real slim. I don't like the looks of things. I don't like the way it looks. I'm telling you, it's going to close in all at once. It's going to happen. And I don't know. I've never. This is the worst I've ever seen this country right now.
It is to me as well. You and I were raised up basically in the same generational area. We saw the country much different, 40 years ago compared to what it is now. It's literally a different country at this point. It's like we were picked up and moved to a different planet at this point.
Yeah, basically that's what it feels like. But we're in a lot of trouble in this country. This is not America no more. It's people keep saying, "Oh, it's the old men sat around and made up the Constitution. That was an old idea, and we need new ideas now." And Look, folks, you know what I say? There's other countries. There's a variety. We have a large variety out there. If there's something you want, you could find it. Don't try to change my country. I love my country the way it was.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not that way no more. I don't love this country. I love the one it used to be. I want to go back to that country. And racism, that's people. That's not country. That's people. You want to change racism, it starts with you. Shut your mouth, stop saying horrible things, and racism's over, basically. What you think in your own head or in your own home, good for you. But don't teach it either. Don't say these things around your kids, and we'll get rid of it. And stop telling your kids, oh, you're playing with a black kid, or, oh, you're playing with a white kid. I mean, that's where it comes from. And these kids aren't born racist. You're making them that way. So shut your mouth and go find a hobby. And guess what? Racism's over.
You got it. You got it exactly. We are not born racist. You look at 3 or 4 kids to get together of the different quote unquote races. And I say quote unquote because there really isn't even any other races. We're all human beings. The only difference between us as far as the colors and body types and all that kind of stuff is concerned is just because we lived in different areas. You know, our ancestors lived in these areas for a long period of time, and they adapted to the environment that they were living in. It's not a different race. It's all the same.
That's right.
We all come from one location, at least according to what science has been able to find. We all come from the same basis over in Africa. So literally, we're all from Africa, you know?
Well, and I don't believe that either. I don't think we're all from Africa, but I think that we're all from that end of the world. I think.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
But that's what they do say, that life originated in Africa. There's other people, especially some archaeologists, who would disagree with that. Like, I think Michael Cremo is one of them, who would say, I think it started in a few different places. I don't think it was just one. I think it started there because that's where they landed.
That's pretty much my thoughts as well. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to get down to what I think, honestly, what I think is that we originated somewhere else and came here, and we've just basically grown from here.
Well, let's talk about evolution for a minute, okay? Darwin and his maniac ideas. Yeah. So you're telling me, okay, how long would I have to go doggy paddle in the ocean before I started to form fins and gills? How long would I have to do that? Because I'm guessing I'm going to drown before other generations get to be born out in the ocean. You see what I mean? So that don't work for me. So you're telling me some fish come up onto the land and he said, so what? He just laid there until he grew legs, or how'd that happen? I just, none of it makes sense to me.
Yeah, the pieces do not fit together. They've been cobbled together. They've been glued together, but they were not originally fitting together. Darwin himself said that if no link was to be found in the next 100 years, that would prove that his theory was incorrect. It's been longer than that. No link has ever been found. His theory is incorrect, according to he himself.
Oh, his theory is definitely incorrect. There's not a missing link. There's a hidden link. That's what it is. It's not the missing link. It's the hidden link.
There you go.
Yeah.
And that's a vast difference. It may sound like a subtle difference, but it really is a vast difference. I mean, the way that if you look into some of the different experimentation that's been done over the years, there's one experiment that was done in, I believe it was in Russia, where they took purified sand, they took purified water, they superheated the sand to extreme temperatures where literally nothing could survive, at least as we know it. The water was heated up as well. They allowed it to cool, and when it cooled, they looked into the water, that was left there, and they found that there was DNA there. There were little things in there. It was like they literally spontaneously created themselves out of the combination of the heat, the silica, and the water.
Well, before I bring Josh on here with us, what I do want to say is, you were talking about the water and the ocean, is I want to stress once more that the ocean is in a lot of trouble. We're in trouble. The ocean is too, though, and there's a lot of die off in that ocean, and shark attacks are increasing big time. And somebody had brought up something very important also in the chat room, and that is that there's flesh-eating bacteria as well. And yeah, this has been going on for the last few years, this flesh-eating bacteria, at least in other parts. I know they had it here in Georgia. It was happening. It's happened. There was a couple cases in South Carolina. They've had, I think, a case in North Carolina. Florida's been getting hit bad with it, and that's because of the BP oil spill and because of the Corexit. That's what
the Corexit, exactly.
That's why you've got the. That's what I told people, that there are still people. People say, "Well, how many died from the BP oil spill?" It's like, well, we don't know, because people are still dying from it.
Exactly. The one ocean was completely devastated due to the Corexit and the oil spill. The other ocean has been completely devastated because of Fukushima and the radiation. Between the two, we've killed our planet.
Well, we never will. I don't think kill the planet will wind up killing
kill the planet for our habitation. Let's put it that way. The planet itself is going to exist for as long as it wants to exist, until the time that it cracks open and decides to no longer be here.
But you're right. You're right. We have killed the planet. To our standards, it's being killed. And these SOBs, they've got to have a plan. I mean, more than just underground. I don't know how long they plan on being underground, but I think there's more than that. I know that there's some of these private space agencies that are working on building their own space stations in space that are going to be able to house many, and they're going to be like luxury hotels almost. But they plan on doing that, and I'm wondering, where are all these private space agencies? What, they're doing a lot of stuff out there, a lot of secret space program kind of stuff, and so I wonder, are they gonna sit back, watch us get hit with something, and then what? Come back after, sweep up?
About that, yeah. I look at Wall-E, the movie Wall-E. Isn't that pretty much what happened there? I mean, it really does seem to be that way, though. They seem to be doing everything they can do to plan to, rape this planet for every bit of resources they can get, just like locusts, and move themselves to another place and do the same there.
Yeah.
What it's
Well, Ira, I think, do you have storms in your area?
We have a few that are starting to move through, yeah.
Okay, I could tell. You're getting a little electronic on me there.
Oh, okay.
But that's okay, because I'm going to bring Josh on here for a moment. You know what I'm thinking of doing with Josh? And, he hasn't, he's still radio shy, kind of, like he's kind of just sitting back watching what I do right now. But I'm thinking, I told him, one of these days, you better be paying attention, because I'm going to throw you under the bus. One day, there's going to be like a half hour on the station where I'm just going to say, here, what show you doing? You're on, and we'll see what he does with that.
It's the best way to learn.
Oh my God. I remember my first time on air, my anxiety hit. I remember I had to take my first break early, and I not kid you, I had my daughter bring me in my cooler, and I'm not a beer drinker at all. I don't drink. And I drank 5 beers down straight on the break. And I came back, and I was like, all right, we can do this. But then I was like, I can't do this every night. So, but only that one time, because the first time was a doozy. So... But yeah, so so we'll see how he does. Josh, welcome to Late Night in the Midlands. And so, how do you think you're going to do the first time you get thrown under the bus?
Good.
You think you're going to do good? You heard that, right? He says he thinks he's going to do good. So now we're going to expect good when you get thrown under there. What type of show would you do? See, we haven't talked about
politics.
This. Politics. But you gotta know, you're only 16. You don't know enough about politics yet.
Well,
But you know a lot more than your brother and your sister. See, Josh here he's being educated by me, which could be a bad thing, but it's also a good thing. And his brother and his sister, I mean, I told my other son, I says, look, you got to wake up. And he sends me a message back, and he says, what does wake up mean? I said, oh, no. Oh no. I start getting heart pains. But
were you like Red Skelton on Sanford and Son? Myrtle!
I was, yeah. Elizabeth. Oh, Elizabeth. Here's it coming. This is the one. Yeah, I did it. But yeah, he's my hope. I got one son who is probably going to become big in basketball. He loves sports. He plays basketball, and he is incredibly talented in it. And I'm not a basketball person, but I am now. My daughter, she's a great mother, and she's got my attitude, which is bad sometimes for me. And then I've got Josh here, who is, he's learning the ropes. And one thing I learned when I was a kid, my dad pushed me into football, and I got into football before I was ready. I didn't know football very well when he put me in it, and so I swore that I would never do that with my kids. So it's like, here it is, take your time, learn, and if you want it, in the future it might be yours, right? So anyways, Josh, let me ask you this. How do you feel about he's red over here, everyone. He's bright red.
Don't be shy. Everything is fine.
How do you feel about the Rainbow House?
Oh, I feel that when you change, how they're doing it, changing the flag, people are fighting. The people that fought while that flag was up are being pretty much forgotten, because that's the flag they fought for, not.
Well, but you're talking about the Confederate flag. I'm talking about the Rainbow House.
Oh, my bad.
It's a good point, though.
I thought you were talking about the rainbow flag.
Yeah, no. Well, they did it to the Confederate flag too. But go ahead, say you're right about the Confederate flag. You're right. That's it?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see.
See, he needs to get his anger up and yeah, this is what I feel. Oh.
Well, yeah, exactly. He will as he gets to know this stuff more.
Yep.
He'll
see. I think he and my daughter Crystal ought to do a show actually doing positive news. Half hour worth of positive news. This is the news that is good news that's going on, because we need a lot more of that.
Hey, I got an email from somebody who says, I was going to subscribe to you, but now I'm not because you're anti-gay. Oh, listen there. Don't get your little wand in a knot, okay? I'm not anti-gay. I'm just anti-you. Okay.
If they think that you are anti-gay or that I am anti-gay, they obviously did not listen to any of the show where we were talking about exactly that.
Yeah,
that's how people are, though. They assume that we feel a certain way.
They're just mad because I haven't grabbed the rainbow flag and wrapped it around me and ran outside, jumped up and down, and went, "Yay!" I'm sorry, I'm not gonna do that.
It's the assumptions that drive me nuts. It's like the message that we got on YouTube telling you that they were upset with you about the fact that you got me and Ryan on the network and we're godless people and on and on and on. We don't believe in God. And it's like, excuse me, but if you think that I don't believe in God, you have obviously never listened to any of my shows, because I talk about it constantly about my belief in God.
We got to be sensitive to Muslims too. And I mean, all this stuff, you know what? Let me say this, and if more people don't want to subscribe because of it, I don't care. Here's what I got to say. I am never going to be politically correct. I'm going to say it like I feel and like I see it. And if you don't like it, too bad. Okay? I don't have to be for anything that's not who I am. I am for me. I am for what I feel is right. And if you don't like it, too bad. I don't care. They made a big deal about gays in the military. Gays this, gays that. Oh, can we make a big deal about straights? Okay, then be gay and I'll be straight. And all right, fine. We'll meet at the fence. I'll say hello, neighbor. and we're good. But don't why do we got to make such a big deal of this stuff? Why? Because it's to distract you from what else is going on. And that's what bothers me about all this. So political correctness don't work for me. And anybody I've had people in the past who, oh, you're a racist. No, I could guarantee you I'm not. Believe me, I could guarantee. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you why I'm not racist, because I don't have to. But I can tell you that anyone who says that, you're just an idiot, because I'm not racist. I love everybody. I just don't love idiots. So, but anyways, but nobody's calling us racist, but we were told that we don't like gay people, but we do. I mean, I don't mind you. Your money spends the same. Subscribe.
Hey, I mean, if anybody thinks that I have an issue with it, I absolutely don't. I have one of my children is bi. I mean, if I had an issue with it, I'd have an issue with them. I have zero issue with it, in any way, shape, or form. What people do, and I've stated this before, even earlier in this show, what people do is their business. It's none of mine, and I have no say in their life whatsoever. Keep me out of it. I don't care what you do in the bedroom. I don't care what you do in your life. As long as you're not causing harm to anybody else, you're not causing hatred with anybody else, you're not causing division with anybody else, I have zero issue with what you do.
Yeah.
But when you start interacting with things like that, that's when we have an issue. So to that person who says that they won't be a subscriber because we supposedly don't support gays and so on and so forth, we don't need you. See ya.
Well, exactly. I mean, I don't want people who think like that. I mean, there's people, if you don't think like them, then right away you're a bad person. Look, I'm who I am, and this show is successful because I say what needs to be said. And I don't expect everybody to agree with everything I say, and I could care less if everybody does. It's never going to happen. But the fact is, I know what's right for me, and that's all. That's what's important. What's right for you? Then say
exactly.
It. Don't let nobody tell you you're this or that. I get sick of that. Like, I'll speak up to anybody. I don't give a damn what color you are, what your sexual orientation is, or whatever. It really doesn't matter to me. It's like some people think you won't say anything because, he doesn't want to be called a racist, or he doesn't want to be called a bigot or this or that. Get out of here with all that crap. That's just a bunch of sheeple fake news stuff. And,
exactly.
I didn't come and announce to you on the news when me and Autumn got together. I didn't go crazy, and we didn't put lights on the White House then. They act like they act like it's like they're black people and they were put in slavery. No, we're free. I mean, all right, so you like each other and you want to get married. Great, go for it. I don't care. Your government cared. That's the only one who cared about it. And now you're putting it in my news. I got to see it. It's not important to me. And I'll tell you one more. Do I want to see two gay men kissing on a park bench? Absolutely not. But I don't want to see a man and a woman doing it either when I'm walking with my kids in a park. Take it to your bedroom. That's the way I see it. I'm a little old-fashioned in that sense. So it's not about being anti-gay. It's about having morals and family value. That's all. A little bit of that.
Which have been destroyed in this country step by step.
No, they have.
More and more.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they are. And Obama. Well, the good news is though, not only we got our first black and first Muslim president, but we also got our first gay president. So we got it all out.
All wrapped in one little package.
Yeah. Happy New Year's. Blow the whistles, let off the fireworks. Yeehaw. And we should start selling rainbow flags on the website.
There you go. Yep.
Yeah, we could sell them to everybody. Maybe they'll start listening and they'll get educated a little.
There you go.
I mean, that's like me saying, well, thank God the government's allowed us to do this radio show. Piss on them. We have a right to do this radio show, just like you have a right to love who you want. So stop waiting for government to approve. They ain't our parents. Man, oh man. Josh, any last words you want to get out before we're done? You got to say something. What's on your mind? What are you thinking? Anything?
I think I think the plans about changing the White House and the flag is wrong because we didn't fight for that. We fought for the original stuff. But,
yeah. Well, just for the record, the White House ain't really.
I know.
Okay.
I'm talking about,
it will be, though. It's not yet, but Obama's getting his painting clothes on. He's going to get out there. Him and Michael are going to get out there, and once she takes her wig off, she'll become Michael. And then we could finally, as a nation, we could fight terrorism together, and we could raise our rainbow flag and be proud. So, let's do that. All right. So, Ira, anything you want to get out before we're done?
Have no fear. That's the big thing. Speak your mind, whatever that mind may be. Speak it out. Whatever it is that your belief is, speak it out. But be sure that you're honest with yourself. Make sure that you're honest with who you're connecting with in the higher power. Whatever that power may be is between you and them. It's not between anybody else. And that's really what it all comes down to. Keep safe out there and have fun. Thank you so much for letting me come on.
Hey, you have a flaming night, and thank you so much. I appreciate
Absolutely.
it. Absolutely. You fire off them fireworks. We're free. The country's free because Obama said that gay people could get married now, so we could be, celebrate our independence. So, Ira, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Everybody else, we're about done here tonight. And, I joke around about these things because that's all I can do. God bless you. Love is what we need. We need more love. We just don't need to love on my couch. So, if you're loving on your couch, I don't care if you're loving your Cocker Spaniel. I don't care if you're loving your poodle. I don't care if you're loving your Martian. Whatever, even your Gary the Mad Martian, you could love him too. I don't care. Just don't, as long as you're not doing it on my couch, good for you. But don't rub it in my face, or I will come to your house at 6 o'clock Sunday morning, and I will sit and tell you the whole story about how me and Autumn met. How would you like that? And we'll celebrate. We'll blow off fireworks. We'll have a flaming time. So, folks, this has been a broadcast of Late Night in the Midlands on Flaming Friday. I'm Michael Vera. Keep your eyes posted to the sky because you never know what you might see. You might see fireworks and pink flags. Folks, I'm just having fun with it. I really am. I don't need any emails about how anti-gay I am because I'm really not. Keep your ears posted to this broadcast because you never know what you might learn. Good night, everybody.